chasing bright treasure through fevered days, flipping his relics for silver and pride, while faithful friends were cast aside. He called for the chains, for the mute, for the break, for every voice he could make the world take. But the halls grew loud with the thunderous call, and neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder in fall. No crown for the man who feeds on fear, no feast for the one who poisons the year. He dragged his name through mud and fire, then found the bridge burned by his own desire. False flagger burn, your banners turn to ash. False flagger learn, the crowd has joined at last. Greed in your hands and envy in your eyes. False flagger fall when the whole world rises. Now the masks come off in the war drum rain, and the liar hears his own name break. No throne survives when the people sing. No fraud outlives the dawn we bring. False flagger burn, your banners turn to ash. False flagger learn, the crowd has joined at last. Greed in your hands and envy in your eyes. False flagger fall when the whole world rises. He sat on a pile of gold, with ale on his breath and spite in his throat. Heavy with greed, with glassy red eyes, counting his curses like stolen prize. His tower was packed with junk and bone, street trinkets stacked like a rusted throne. He sold his soul for a price tag grin, and fed on the shame that he called a win. He raised black banners in treasure through fever days, flipping his relics for silver and pride, while faithful friends were cast aside. He called for the chains, for the mute, for the break, for every voice he could make the world take. But the halls grew loud with a thunderous call, and neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder in fall. No crown for the man who feeds on fear, no feast for the one who poisons the year. He dragged his name through mud and fire, then found the bridge burned by his own desire. False flagger burn, your banners turn to ash. False flagger learn, the crowd has joined at last. Greed in your hands and envy in your eyes. False flagger fall when the whole world rises. Now the masks come off in the war drum rain, and the liar hears his own name break. No throne survives when the people sing. No fraud outlives the dawn we False flagger burn, your banners turn to ash. False flagger learn, and the crowd has joined at last. Greed in your hands and envy in your eyes. False flagger fall when the whole world rises. In the glow of 100 screens, tactical Templar draws his steel. From thumbnail banners to comment beams, he calls the scattered to the wheel. Bite, 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 the banners rise from basement desks and kitchen floors. Writers, gamers, camera eyes, all answer now with iron roars. Hear the signal split the night, one shared vow, one burning thread. Every channel locks in tight, every brave word raised instead. Tactical Templar, lead us on. Tactical Templar, bring the dawn. We stand as one, we hold the line. 1,000 voices, one design. Tactical Templar, break their scheme.
All right, brothers, so good to see you again. So good to see you guys again. What an amazing day. And guys, we're just going to get into it. We're going to start the show.
Humans aren't born out of laying around.
We're just going to start the show. Let me see. You know, guys, it's almost the weekend. Yeah. Well, today I have a very special show for you today. We're going to watch, I have so much for you. We're going to watch a speech from our president, Donald John Trump. We're going to be taking a look at Hassan Piker being absolutely just humiliated by his so-called allies. We're going to be taking a look at more of Vosh getting deported. You know, Vosh self-deporting. Guys, I'm so glad that you're here with me today. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Brothers, we are here to defend humanity against the encroaching scum, the filth, the xeno, the heretic. We are here to defend the human race from some of the most absolutely indefensible, vile, subhuman, malicious, mendacious, just creepy, unctuous people that the world has ever seen. And that's what we're here to do today. So, it says, what happened with the last stream? I don't know. What did happen with the last stream? Did you cross the streams? The last stream was great. But today is a new day. It's Thursday. Guys, it is one day away from the weekend. And speaking of which, speaking of the weekend, speaking of the quartering, we are going to be talking about the quartering because, you know, I think that time does heal all wounds. And I just sort of want to reopen one of these wounds. You see, there are content creators that do not have a channel right now as a result of the quartering. And I don't want to let people forget that. I don't want to let people forget that. I think that what we need to do is we need to talk about the fact that Mikey No More doesn't have a channel because of the quartering. So, I actually would contend that the quartering is far worse than Matt Jarbo. Because Matt Jarbo was a false flagger. But at the very least, to my recollection, he didn't get somebody's channel taken down. The quartering has. He's been a much more effective false flagger. And I don't think people should allow him to get away with it. I think they should continue felting him, humiliating him, smiting him, whatever you want to call it. They need to keep elucidating all the different things that he's doing, all the mistakes that he's making, until the quartering comes on bended knee and groveling, ask for mercy. And even then, he's going to have to jump through a lot of humiliating hoops. The quartering is going to have to jump through a lot of humiliating hoops because people have lost their channels as a result of his tantrums. And that is wholly unacceptable. But guys, I got a whole lot to go over today. I'm glad that you're here. You get to share it together. So, business meeting. Guys, business meeting at the beginning of the show. It's not like the quartering or DSP's business meeting. I'll just let you guys know that I am considering moving my streams over to Kick and Rumble for the most part. And then doing a YouTube stream maybe 1 or 2 times a week. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm going to have to, take a look at it. But I look at what's going on with YouTube and I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable on YouTube as a content creator. And I know from your perspective as the audience, it doesn't really matter where the content is coming from. But I've been desperately trying to help YouTube, in my own way. I don't really have any sort of connection, but I've been helping, try to create some bridges. But there's nothing. There's no support. It seems like they don't care. I just saw another channel that was suspended for a week for nothing. They can't stream it. I'm like, I look, if that's the way it's going to be, then, I may have to look at streaming elsewhere, primarily, on Kick or Rumble, and then using YouTube to upload, videos and clips. I don't know. But that is something that I am considering. I will definitely let you know before I make such a drastic change. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. If you haven't followed me on Kick, I would definitely appreciate it. The Kick is, it's just been so much better. Okay. It says, I don't like Kick as much. Here's the thing. Kick, I feel much more comfortable on because I don't think that Kick is going to ban me for some frivolous reason or going to hit me with some ridiculous copyright claim or allow people to abuse the system. And also there's the other thing that if you donate to my channel on Kick, I get 95% of that. So if you send me a $5 super chat, which is a huge amount of money, it's a huge support, I get 95% of that. But if, for example, you do it on YouTube, I get 70% of that. So YouTube takes a monster cut of that. So on one hand, I'm building up on a platform like YouTube that just really clearly doesn't care about the connection with smaller creators. It's very clear. They have some AI bot. It just sort of like, hey, deal with these plebeians, okay? I'm sure that Mr. Beast and some of the bigger I'm sure Asmongold has a high up YouTube rep. But for us little guys, it's sort of like the AI assembly line. Like, yeah. Even though I've made thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for YouTube. My little channel, I've made tens of thousands of dollars for YouTube. And they just sort of look at it like, oh, yeah, okay, tens of thousands of dollars. I find that in my couch. It says, I'd use Odyssey before I ever use Kick. Kick is way better. As a content creator, Kick is way better. And you can tell that because there are more creators that are going to Kick now than ever. You see that with the Kino Casino is exclusively on Kick now. Nux Taku's on Kick. Like, there are tons of people. Tectone. I don't know if Tectone is on Kick or if he's on Rumble. YouTube $1 trillion company needs a $2 a pop. Yeah, they need a $2 a pop thing. It's pretty crazy. So Let's see. It says, "Hey, Tactical, how's life? Life is life. You know, there are blessings and there are setbacks, and that's what that's the way that it will be." But yeah, Yesterday, Dora was mentioning that yesterday I had to cut stream a little bit short. I had an emergency phone call. Nobody here really. Listen, it's not a knock. It's just a reality that it's sort of. I had to go take care of that. It was important, and but now we're back, and so yeah, a new day, new lease on life, and yeah, last night we reacted to quite a few clips from. Well, I mean, we reacted to Celestium and her talking about Christianity. And yeah, we got a lot to go over today. We got a lot to do. So might as well just get into it. And we'll start off with what I think is some pretty great news. I actually think this is pretty exciting. Let me real quick. Just for the sake. It says, "How come viewers are tired of people on YouTube?" Well, how do you mean? How do you mean? You mean viewers are tired of people on YouTube? I don't think they are. I think that content creators are getting tired of YouTube, but YouTube is still number one for discoverability. There's no denying that YouTube is still number one for discoverability. Let's see. Okay, let me find the. They haven't even released a trailer for this movie. Yeah, it is crazy. Somebody used AI to make a concept. Okay. Okay, I totally got distracted. Somebody in chat, Doyle says, guys, I can't find my phone. Please help." And Muskip says, "Doyle, call your number and it will ring." It's sort of like you text somebody a picture of their phone and then you say that they left it. How did I lose my phone when it's laying in front of me? I don't know, dude. That's embarrassing. But hopefully you'll find it. Yeah, call your phone, see if it rings. Man. Do not watch the new Batman, the gender swap Firefly into a woman. They gender swap Firefly into a woman. Well, that's something. All right, here we go, boys. Brothers, I would say that video game movie adaptations. I don't want to phrase that, actually. You want to say movie. Brothers, when it comes to film, video game movies haven't really done particularly well, or they really haven't been. All right, take 3, okay? I usually can do it in one take, but every once in a while I get a couple takes, okay? And that's why you watch it on stream. You watch so that that I fuck up sometimes and I gotta do it over. It's it's what happens. It's what happens. I usually can do it in one take, but sometimes when I really want to make sure that I get it right, I have to, do it over. And that's really what these streams are about. You see the behind the scenes. You see just how unbelievably shit it is when I fuck up. All right. We got to find the eye of the tiger. We got to get into the energy. We got to manifest. Okay? All right, everyone, put your hands together. You need to find your inner chi. You need to align your crystals and your chakras to the astrological sign. You need to make sure that the stars in your crystals are aligning with your chakra, and that oh man, that's great. Yeah, the stars don't lie. The crystals, they don't lie. Brothers, I would say the number one most anticipated video game movie right now is The Legend of Zelda, and it got a huge announcement. Big news. So, unfortunately, recently, Sam Neill passed away. If you don't know who Sam Neill is, he played in Event Horizon, he played in Jurassic Park, just an iconic, immediately recognizable actor that it was, in many ways, intrinsic to a lot of our childhoods. However, he passed away recently, and we're thinking, okay, well, the passing of this great, this giant in cinema, this guy that was just so recognizable. You could tell his voice, you tell his face, it's just incredible. Well, it turns out that The Legend of Zelda, hold on. Oh gosh. No! This is I swear this is going to be one of those days. Give me 1 second. This is going to be one of those days. It's going to make me furious. I need 1 second. Sorry guys. All right. It seems that the universe is conspiring against me. But you know what? I'm still going to persevere. It seems like everything is trying to converge to get me from doing this. And you know what? As God is my witness, I am going to get through this. I am not going to let anything stop me. No interruptions, no distractions, no text messages, nothing. Okay? We're going to get through this. So help me God, I will get through this. No, I turned off my phone. Oh, man, I probably should turn that on in case I get an emergency message. But you know what? For right now, I'm keeping the phone off, okay? All right. I have to get into my battle stance, okay? I'm going to make this video now out of spite. Pure animus and spite. I'm going to make this video no matter what. If I have to do 100 takes, you know what? I'm going to do it. All right. Yes, here we go. Brothers, one of the most anticipated video game movies is The Legend of Zelda. And there has been very little information about this movie that's been released. They haven't even released a full trailer. We do know who's playing Link. We do know who's playing Zelda. And we've gotten rumors about who's going to play Ganondorf, who's going to play Impa, and so on. However, from Deadline, we did get another update. And if this is true, this is going to be very, very cool. Sam Neill recently passed away. For those that don't recognize the name, Dr. Grant on Jurassic Park. He also played in Event Horizon. I think he also played in The Hunt for Red October. An incredibly iconic actor. His face, his voice, he's pretty intrinsic to a lot of childhoods, when you grew up in the 90s, especially playing in Jurassic Park. However, there has been an update that The Legend of Zelda, this movie, is going to be his final film that he recorded for this movie before he passed away, which is insanely cool. Now, it's not cool that he died. It's extremely sad. But what a final film to go out on. And I think it just increases the anticipation and the excitement for this movie that this is Dr. Grant's final movie. Yeah, I think that's amazing. So first of all, this isn't actually the trailer for it, but this is an AI concept that people put together from the images and stuff, and I want to go over this, and then we're going to look at the article talking about Sam Neill playing his final role in this film.
Long before heroes are remembered, the world waits in silence. Something is changing.
I feel like I've been here before.
Hyrule must be ready. The stories were never just stories.
That's pretty cool.
You don't have to face this alone. I'm afraid of what I might become.
I don't
We face it
open
together.
field.
This ends now.
You know what? I kind of like him. I think
I finally understand why I was chosen.
The legend begins.
Yeah, so basically, the only thing that we have to go on as it relates to, The Legend of Zelda live action is a bunch of still shots that people have now taken and put into AI to create their own trailers, which is going to be the future. Basically, if studios don't give us trailers, people are just going to make their own. For example, there's a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake trailer. But they didn't actually release the trailer. So, I don't know if this film is going to be good or not. I have no idea. But I am now anticipating this movie way more. Because Sam Neill filmed Legend of Zelda prior to death. Daikon Lachman and so this is by the way, for those who are fans of Mass Effect, this is Miranda Lawson, okay, and she's going to be playing Sheik, which I think is a great casting choice as well. That's what they're saying. So earlier today, news broke that Australia's Uli Latakukefu, okay, I like to buy a vowel, has landed the villain role of Ganondorf. Okay, so that is the guy that plays the Rock in I think it's called Young Rock. The role of Ganondorf. Okay, so he's a good choice. All right, he's a good choice. Like him. Nintendo and Sony teaming up. And also, sources tell us that the late Sam Neill will also appear in the film. Reps for Sony couldn't be reached for comment, nor could Neill's former reps. The project, which wrapped in April, will mark one of Neill's final screen performances, if not the last. It is not yet clear who he plays. Neill died July 13th at 78. Okay, other additions include Severance's Daikon Lachman and The Handmaid's Tale's Yvonne Sources were unclear what Miranda's role. Somebody in chat says, so no diversity. Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't it great? We don't race swap. You don't add in all these other. Ganondorf is not some fat lesbian. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Now, if they, add in some weird triangle where Ganondorf, is invading the kingdom because he's secretly attracted to Link, and, that he wants Link in some sort of romance, but Link is attracted to Zelda, and, like, if they add some, typical Hollywood LGBTQ degenerate shit, then, we'll be back here and, and people will laugh at that, but, unfortunately, what I just suggested there, didn't suggest, but what I elucidated there is probably somebody, at Hollywood's grand idea. It's probably their fan fiction. They also wanted Zelda to be played by Hunter, was it Hunter Schafer? Who's a guy? Hunter Schafer is a guy, a trans guy. And they wanted them to be, to be playing Zelda. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. Let's have a man play Zelda, right? Full Metal Joker in chat says, stop giving them ideas. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. They'll be like, they'll be like, wow, that's a great idea. I'm like, no, it's a joke. I'm just kidding. Sources are unclear on Miranda's role, though we're told she plays a queen character. Okay, so maybe Sam Neill plays the king, and maybe she plays the queen. Zelda's mom. I mean, we don't usually see Zelda's mom. We usually see, the king, but we don't usually see the mom. Maybe they're adding a mother character for once. That would be an interesting twist. With The Legend of Zelda, they sort of do the Disney thing where, they either remove the parents outright or there's like one parent. But yeah, I think that's amazing news that Sam Neill is going to be in this movie. Maybe it's only a cameo or, just like a small bit. Maybe he's Tingle. We don't know what role he's going to play, but the fact he's in the movie does get me amped to see it more than I already was. Now, I'm not saying that I'm overly stoked for this movie because it's live action, it's Hollywood. They're going to find 1,000 ways to mess it up. But if it is Sam Neill's last film, and it is The Legend of Zelda, I will give this movie a chance, okay? I will give it a chance. I want to see. Somebody in chat says the queen will outshine the king. Again, stop giving them ideas. Not that they needed that idea because that is their go-to. That the king is some dumb, violent, the king ruined everything and the queen is the smartest, most brilliant. I get it, yeah. But we need to support this because Sam Neill, I mean, he was incredible. Sam Neill was a guy that just, you can't watch Jurassic Park without thinking of Sam Neill. He was incredible. So his final outing, his final film, yeah, I'm gonna go see. And I will keep you guys abreast of whatever updates comes along the way. If they, announce distinct roles for these actors, I will keep you guys up to date. I don't think we're gonna get some news for quite some time. Nintendo really likes to play things close to the chest, but it says they'll make the king a lovable oaf. Yeah, I mean, well, a lovable oaf is not bad. It's not too bad. We want Marcus Phoenix again. Yeah, that's true. Oh boy, don't we? Don't we need Marcus Phoenix? Anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I just wanted to bring this to your attention that, I was gonna say Deadline has reported that Sam Neill is going to be part of this Legend of Zelda movie. I think that's incredibly cool. It makes me excited for it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, let me get this uploaded. I was King Rome, boss for Almas Hyrule. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be King Rome. Okay, I just don't. I don't think he's going to be King Rome. See. Okay. All right. How about we? I'm going to let you guys choose what we react to next. Okay? I'm going to let you guys choose because I am nothing if not magnanimous. Isn't that right, chat? Oh, I could have added that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Actually, yeah. I do declare I'm going to run a poll on my YouTube tab because I do that from time to time. Because I can. Yeah. Okay. No one can stop me. I'm going to run a poll. What would you like to see me cover next? Is Trump speech? Nah, Trump speech we should save till later. GTA. Blizzard. I think you guys will like the GTA 6 stuff. But I'm not entirely sure. Well, we will see. Blizzard news. I probably should have changed the name to be different because it's not just Blizzard news, it's actually kind of a huge deal. Kind of a huge, unbelievably massive deal what's happening with Blizzard. Massive deal about this company that was basically harassed and extorted. Yeah, Blizzard is an attack on all of us. Yeah, Blizzard, what happened to Blizzard is just, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Blizzard was the victim of, just a relentless media campaign designed to destroy the company because it was for men by men. And I think the lives of everyone who helped to facilitate that should be ruined forever. I think that those people should lose everything that they have. And I don't think they should ever be able to live another day going outside where people don't pelt them with vegetables. Tomatoes, I don't know, like you could sell rotten vegetables from your local grocery store. You go buy them and, I think that should be legal. These people are so evil and so unbelievably just cruel in what they did. It should be legal to pelt them with vegetables. You should put them in the stocks. Back in the day when people, misbehaved, you'd pelt them with vegetables. So, okay. So we're gonna react to the Grand Theft Auto 6 stuff, and then we'll go into the Blizzard stuff. Because this will be shorter. Brothers, Grand Theft Auto 6 may be amongst the most anticipated games ever. I don't fully understand it. I'm not excited for this game at all. I'll just be honest. I'm way more excited for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake than I am for Grand Theft Auto 6. I may be in the, vast minority on that opinion, but that's what I feel. I'm not even going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6, most likely. I'm going to get the Legend of Zelda, and then maybe if Grand Theft Auto 6 goes on sale, maybe I'll pick it up. I'm just not really excited for the game or, interested by anything that they've offered or shown so far. Maybe that'll change, but that's where I currently stand. However, the absolute arrogance of Rockstar as a company is unprecedented. It is insane. What we have to look at today is Grand Theft Auto 6. They have released a trailer, or rather, the making of a trailer. But here's the caveat. Here's the kick. If you want to watch the trailer, which is marketing for the promotion of the game, you have to pay a subscription. No, I'm not kidding. If you want to watch this Grand Theft Auto 6 presentation, which is basically just going to be marketing for the game, you have to buy a subscription. You have to pay your money for them to advertise to you about the game. And if you think I'm being overly dramatic, I'm not. This is Grand Theft Auto 6, an extended look, premieres on Netflix. Netflix! So, they're requiring that you have a Netflix subscription to watch the promotion and presentation of Grand Theft Auto 6. So, they've announced this weeks out. But you have to go to Netflix and subscribe to watch the trailer. Watch the premiere. Watch the extended look. Can you imagine if any other company did this? Can you imagine if any other company did this? There would be screeching and hollering. I can't even begin to understand. Oh gosh. The Netflix adaptation. Oh gosh, look at that. Man, that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, the Netflix adaptation. Can you imagine if another company did that? It's insane.
Are you looking for this? No.
Very funny. You know, you're a real asshole.
That's true. They are. You put a trailer behind a paywall. You put a trailer behind a paywall. I want you to imagine if Nintendo did something like that. If Nintendo said, you know what, we got a trailer here. This is the perfect example. Look at this. This game's fucking popularity letting every egregious practice get a pass. Not for me. I'm not buying the game. I don't care about Grand Theft Auto 6. If you're that retarded to buy this game at this point, I don't even know what to tell you. It's like the game looks like shit. I'm not really impressed by what they've offered. And then on top of this, imagine this. Imagine that Nintendo put this out for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Hey guys, we've got a Nintendo Direct hosted by Peacock. Nintendo Direct hosted by Peacock. Do you think that people would be okay with this? That you had to buy a subscription to Peacock in order to watch the Nintendo Direct about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? People would be furious. Why are people giving GTA 6 a pass? You shouldn't. You should boycott this game. They have implemented every terrible, egregious, atrocious practice and told you just to suck it up. Yeah, it is unacceptable. The game is going to be digital only. That right there, for me, I'm not buying your fucking game. Okay? I don't want a digital only game. I want to be able to choose between an actual physical disc and a digital disc. That's what I would like. So, from all the things that they've done, I don't know why people are still so stoked to just Consume the slop. You know, as if Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be that much of a drastic difference between what you've gotten from GTA Online or Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're going to add something new. At this point, I don't trust the company. They've done too much shady shit, too much woke shit, and now this. Like, again, if this were real, and by the way, this isn't real, this is just making a point. If this were real, people would lose their fucking mind. What do you mean Nintendo put the Direct behind a paywall? Yeah, it's insane. So, I just thought this was worth talking about because it's so indicative of how sick, how unbelievably sick this industry is. How unbelievably sick this industry is. There's so many problems. First of all, let's just go through some of these. No disc, no buy. My wedding, GTA 6 reveal. Thank you, Rockstar. Nobody believed me, but I knew you'd come. Paid subscription required to watch an advertisement. We are truly living in the future, right? I don't trust Netflix with my information. 1 hour here is 7 hours on Earth. Good, we wait here for GTA 6 to be released. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. They're bootleggers. Watching numbers on this post climb. Rockstar even making their trailers pay to watch is a crazy move. Yeah. A lot of the shit that they're doing is crazy. And there's no excuse for it. Now, I am curious to see, is there anyone that actually supports this? Is there anyone that supports the number of egregious practices that Rockstar has been implementing? I refuse to get GTA 6 unless Rockstar gives me a physical release and puts the game fully on a disc. Until then, I will just enjoy the GTA games of the past. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. People want their physical media. Oh no, the title is currently unavailable to watch in your... Yeah, putting on Netflix was a huge mistake. Wait, something actually happened this time? That's crazy. This is genuinely crazy. And video game news and video game events, like putting... Like, imagine if they put, like, back in the day, imagine you tuned into E3. And E3 was behind a paywall. You know, it was behind a paywall. You had to pay, like, $20 to watch E3. People would be apoplectic. It says, I never played GTA 5, so no reason to care. Well, I mean, it's not like you have to play one to appreciate the other, but yeah, if GTA is not really your thing, then yeah, you would have no reason to care. But I think that the reason to care in this case is because they're doing something underhanded. They're doing something malicious that's going to hurt people that otherwise, would want to enjoy this game, would want to keep up to date, but not if you're too poor. If you're too poor, you're not welcome anymore. The gaming industry is so desperate for money, they're trying to nickel and dime people instead of doing the one thing that they ought to do, which is just make good games. You will get all the money you would ever want and all the support you would ever want if you just made good games. If you just stop trying to nickel and dime people. Putting an ad, a trailer behind a paywall, you are going, like, that right there generates so much bad will, so much negativity, so much animosity, so much just resentment, and you're going to do that for what, for a couple bucks? Like, what the fuck? Like, how much did they pay you to put that on there? It's not worth it. We got Pizza Cat Prime. I tried GTA 5 and I thought it was incredibly overrated. Yeah, I mean, it's a good game, but yeah, it's not, it's not what people have, put it in their head to be. I would agree with that. Absolutely. But the game will do phenomenally well. People will consume the slop. They'll consume the game. Yeah, because they made it part of their identity, and it's just, yeah, it will be what it will be. But I want to at least make a notation that I think what they're doing is wrong. I think what they're doing is absolutely wrong. If you're putting this shit behind a paywall, your company should be punished. And that's from the gamers. I think that people should refund the game if they've placed an order. I think they should just wait. They should choose not to support this if this is the type of thing that the company is going to do. I don't like Rockstar's story. I'm sure it's amazing, as everyone says, in GTA 5, but I just like the online shenanigans with friends. Yeah, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, the GTA Online, I mean, that gets a lot of support because it makes tons of money. But there's not really a story there. I mean, it's very minimal. I mean, there are stories, but it's more so like you're acquiring stuff to get stuff to build up your empire and, reputation. Not really. You're not playing the online for story so much, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the impression that I've always gotten. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time. We got Y2K saying, I had a good time with GTA 5. Yeah, GTA 5 was fine. Yeah, it was a decent game, but it doesn't justify what they're doing here with GTA 6. What they're doing with GTA 6 is just absolutely egregious. It's insane. So, hey. Okay. Stellar Blade. What? Go through it. Yeah, Stellar Blade is a good game. We've talked about that before. It is a great game. Okay. Let me move ahead. Let's see. Now we're going to talk about Blizzard. Let's see what's the first one. All right. You got
Hello, it's one.
Oh gosh. I never forget. Oh my gosh. All right. This is going to be a bit of a long one, but we're going to go through it. Brothers, there has been a seismic, just absolutely massive development in the gaming news landscape around the company Blizzard and the reporting about the company's allegations. So, a couple of years ago, there were some quote unquote journalists that decided that they were going to get the big scoop on Blizzard and their culture of sexual harassment and deviancy and stealing breast milk. And I mean, there was an endless litany of allegations against the company. Well, as it turns out, most of those and say the vast majority turned out to be false. And the person that spearheaded that was somebody by the name of Jason Schreier. Now, I'm going to show you what Jason Schreier looks like. This is Jason Schreier. Yes, that is Jason Schreier. This absolute weasel, this rat, is somebody that helped to deconstruct and destroy an amazing video game company for his own reputation and for his own catharsis and for his own politics. It's very, very clear that that's the case. This guy was willing to promote and put out there things that were not proven. This is very similar, if you remember, to the Rolling Stone case where they just listened and believed. Because at the time, that's what you had to do. You had to listen and believe. If you didn't, well, then you were the person that was getting canceled. So this guy, this absolute rat, is somebody that caused untold amounts of damage to Blizzard. Now, I hope they sue this guy into oblivion. I hope they sue anyone who had anything to do with this. Because it was a woke crusade trying to take down a company that had traditionally been for men and had masculine stories and attractive women. Well, they sought to correcting that. It's unbelievable. And somebody in chat says, he looks exactly how I thought he would. Of course. Because these are the people that have been just scheming and conniving behind the scenes to reform the gaming industry into a more feminine, garbage tier product.
One take Schreier, and the outrage merchants are at it. Again, today's claim is that the allegations of sexual harassment at Blizzard are false and that somehow I made them all up.
I mean, his voice matches the way he looks.
All right, I'm Jason Schreier.
That I made them all up. You did make them all up. You did. It's pretty clear. Or maybe you didn't make them up. Maybe somebody made them up and you repeated them. You regurgitated them uncritically, unthinkingly. Maybe that's the case. I will give you that. Maybe you were just a useful idiot, a useful tool. However, no matter how you look at it, it looks terrible for you.
If you're lucky enough to not be familiar with this world, there are a number of culture warriors out there who tweet all day about various agreements, whether...
And you Jason Schreier, your job is to write slanderous, defamatory bullshit about corporations.
Like, why are you doing this argument from the people criticizing me are like ridiculous or incels or like, is you looking the way you do and talking the way you talk, you're really disparaging people from some sort of high ground? Like, shut the fuck up. Why don't you go about this going, here's what these people are saying, and try to come at it in some sort of professional, good faith way, and then debunk it one by one if it's that easy. But instead, you got to try to muddy the waters. You got to try to make people not like and not trust the people criticizing me because you're insecure. And the truth is, I think, based on this, I think that you know that you were wrong. I do. I think that you know that you were wrong.
or not they are true, and an attempt to elicit intense emotional reactions from their viewers. These people aren't reporters. They don't actually talk to anyone involved or ask questions. They just kind of tweet and post videos, but they do have reach and sometimes bring in large audiences. This is part of a whole
I think he's talking about Asmongold
ecosystem that just rewards and leads to people getting paid for spreading misinformation on the internet. And normally I just kind of ignore this part of the internet, like in the same way that you would ignore someone in Times Square screaming that the world is coming to an end because of gays.
Oh, yeah. These people that are screaming the world is coming to an end. Yeah, I'd sort of ignore them.
Listen, Baldy. This has nothing to do with Asmongold looking to get paid. Asmongold is a multi-millionaire. He's way richer than you are. And he's less bald than you. And by the way, let's just say Asmongold has way more credibility than you do. Let's be real here. Your credibility is nil. Zero. So, I don't know what this approach is that you're trying to take. You're trying to run down people that are critical online, which is basically doing the same thing that you do, but better. Like you have some sort of institutional authority and that makes you more credible when you've been proven to be wrong. That's crazy.
In the military. But actually today I did want to address it because I think this is a good opportunity to talk about a very serious, very important issue and try to explain it in a way that captures the nuances and complexities of it all. And unlike those squealing cretins, I actually...
Squealing cretins? Oh, golly gosh. I got my thesaurus out for that one. Oh boy, I got my thesaurus out. I'm really going to take it to him.
What we're talking about here is you perpetuating lies that affected people's lives, that had a negative and visible change on a company, a corporation, and seemingly, from my perspective, it seems like you did this for money, for clout, and for attention, and because you politically believed in it. You know, I think that you are projection. You're projecting. You know, they say confession through projection. I think that's what's happening.
I spend most of my time as a reporter on the phone. Well, I spend all day on the phone with people who are involved in these stories, asking them questions, trying to corroborate their accounts with other people so I can piece together what actually happened. And so today's video that I'm going to talk about is based on two main sources. One is an article that I published in Bloomberg in August 2021 that I'll link in the show notes. And the other is my book, Play Nice, about the history of Blizzard, published in October of 2024. Fun fact, the same outrage merchants who are now claiming that I destroyed Blizzard by making up sexual harassment claims have actually spent the last 5 years or so claiming that I kept quiet about sexual harassment claims, just to kind of give you a look at the type of intellect that we're dealing with here. But let's zoom out, because I do think this is really worth talking about.
So you profited off of this. You wrote a book about it. Okay. That tells me that anything that you say, I immediately disregard. Because not only are you financially invested in this, which, by the way, I think that anyone who bought your book, if they have a way to return it, they should. But the information that you had in your book it's bullshit. But you had a financial obligation. You had a financial, I should say, I'm going to rub my hands together. You had a financial interest in spreading this. And now that you've been caught, you're trying to discredit the people that are talking about this. Anyway, we're gonna transition over to Asmongold, because Asmongold uploaded a video talking about this, and we're gonna listen to Asmon. But I mean, look at the difference here. This guy's got to be what, like 5'4", bald. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, this guy, I don't like him. I don't like anything about him. I think that he's an absolute weasel. So let's listen to Asmongold.
It's me again. Today we're going to talk about the revelations recently that have come out about the Blizzard sexual assault lawsuit, investigation, controversy, and everything that happened in 2021, 2022. Now, for anybody who was living under a rock, then Blizzard went under a completely cataclysmic level of accusations, things ranging from, like assault at the workplace causing an employee to kill themselves, from employees, allegedly stealing breast milk out of the employee refrigerator, and the implication, of course.
Yeah, that's been repeated for years. People like Mark Kern and others who worked at Blizzard have had to face those sort of allegations for a long, long, long time. All because people like Jason Schreier repeated the lies so that they can enrich themselves. The dude wrote a fucking book on this. He wrote a book. He wasn't giving those books away for free. He profited off of the suffering and misfortune of others that he caused by repeating a lie. And he has no guilt from it. The only thing that absolute rat can do
is go, guys, these cretins, these little cretins, They're filled with misinformation and loathing and scheming and conniving.
Yo, that's you. You're the fucking rat. You're the one that is profiting off of the destruction of innocent people. And you have no remorse for what you've done. None.
Courses that they're drinking it like Homelander or something. And so all of these crazy, outlandish, insane accusations. Wow, guys, big surprise. It turns out that a lot of them seem to be bullshit. They found no evidence for many of them. They found that some people retracted their accusations. And if you go through a lot of filings with the California, the department that were investigating them, one of the points of failure that Blizzard had was the fact that they had a bunch of white men that were running the company. Oh my god. Well, if you've got that, it must mean that you're drinking everybody's breast milk too. Well, it sure seems like that's not the case. So anyway, I wanted to talk about kind of and break this whole down and look and contextualize all of it. Like, whenever this happened, obviously, I think that it really was the perfect storm for Blizzard because, I mean, at the time, Shadowlands was a piece of shit. This was the current WoW expansion. Overwatch was garbage. People hated Overwatch. Heroes of the Storm was dead. You would say StarCraft is dead, but that would imply that Blizzard knows what StarCraft even is. And basically every other... Warcraft Reforged came out and it was terrible. Basically, Blizzard, instead of couldn't miss, Blizzard couldn't hit. They were getting every single thing wrong in every single game. And this was coming off of the heels of Battle for Azeroth that was also a piece of shit.
He's right. He's right. So they had failure after failure because the company had changed a lot even before this hit. But the moment that this hit, it was the beginning of the end for Blizzard. Because then they had to go back and rework some of the things that were deemed problematic at the company. And they would replace attractive women with bowls of fruit, in paintings, and they had to redesign characters, and now the characters had to be, androgynous and body type 1 and 2, and, we're going to pander to the woke mentally ill mob, and it's crazy. I think that people like Jason Schreier, I think they need to be sued. I do. I think they need to be sued for defamation. I really wish that we had more mechanisms in place to punish people like Jason Schreier that have actively profited off of spreading misinformation. And no accountability from the guy either. That's the part that's just knife in the heart. No remorse. No, accountability, no nothing. The guy just makes a bunch of money selling a book based on a lie.
So basically, the amount of hostility, animosity, and frustration towards Blizzard was at an all-time high. Like, it was never going to be, any better, any worse than this. Then, on top of that, Final Fantasy XIV, they finally kind of come into their own. They're now making their games the way that they want to. The game has its own identity. It's no longer derivative or, vestigial WoW systems, and it's really its own game. So you have a lot of people, including me, that moved over and started playing Final Fantasy XIV at the time. And I think what happened is that happened, the sexual assault lawsuit happened, and you have to remember that, like, 2021, whenever all these things were happening all at the same time, this was like peak woke, right? It was like, this is the point where it was believe all women, every accusation is a conviction, and, if you ask questions or ask for evidence, you are basically a rapist. So, and you had an entire culture that was,
He's right. And a lot of people will forget that. When watching this years later, people will forget what it was like during that time. But if you dared to question a woman coming forward, like, you were violating her all over again. Now, let me share with you my position, okay? Unless you know a woman directly, unless she's your family, she's a close friend, a wife, a girlfriend, you should believe no women. The only way that you should believe a woman, because women are prone to lying way more than men, it's indisputable. We know this to be true. Women are more manipulative, more dishonest, more willing to lie. Women have still not apologized for dooming all of humanity in the Garden of Eden. I still took no accountability for that, by the way, dooming all of humanity to death and sickness and sin. But in all seriousness, women have this inability to tell the truth. And that's why, if you don't know her, you should believe no women, and only if she has evidence to back it up, meaning that she has receipts. You know, there's the blue dress with the semen stain. If it's Monica Lewinsky, she's got the dress with the semen stain, or it's Juanita Broderick, who's got the Bill Clinton rape tapes. You know, in that case, then you look at that and you go, okay, well, you know, I can see this happening. But somebody like Christine Blasey Ford, you should never believe a woman like that. Oh, something happened 30 years ago. This horrible thing happened. I don't know how I got there. I don't know how I got home. I don't know any of the details. But you should believe no women that you don't immediately know that aren't in your family or aren't in your church group. Because women of the world, especially promiscuous women, are manipulative, lying snakes. Yeah, I said it. You know, 10 years ago, that would get me canceled. That would get me the platform. But thankfully today we live in a different world where I can say the truth. And by the way, that's not hating on women. That's just a reality. That's just a reality of human nature. You should believe no women unless they can prove it. Unless you know the women directly.
Created around enabling this. And I think that culture, one of the biggest victims to it was Blizzard. Now, one thing I can say too, though, is that I don't think that all of the accusations were fake. I think that I think that sexual harassment, this is going to sound maybe a very black pill thing to say, but I think sexual harassment is sexual assault even is it's an outcome of the human condition.
No.
Every company, every group of people, like how many of you guys know somebody in any organization that you've been in where like something weird like this happened? I think that this is just what happens when men and women get together. And
this is not normal. I don't know what sort of left-wing circles Asmongold runs in, but no, this is not normal. No, you can, and in fact, outside of like the streaming Hollywood circle, most people go through their life without having to deal with somebody who sexually assaulted them, or like in the way that we're talking about here. Yeah, I think it's, I think that's a wild thing to say. I do. I do think that is a wild thing to say. I do think the church helps, believe it or not. I do think the church helps, because teaching people, restraint and teaching people that, you shouldn't just act on all of your impulses. I do think that has an effect, but I would say Asmongold is right in like the third world. You take a look at the third world and yeah, it's undeniably true, but in the West, I mean, you have people, maybe there are, a couple rapes and stuff that happens, but I don't think it's the overarching thing where it's going to happen to everyone, everywhere. Everyone's going to know somebody that was, no, I don't believe that. I don't buy that.
And when women and women get together, you have different problems. And whenever men and men get together, you have different problems. Like basically, people have problems, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think people just naturally have problems. I think liberal atheists have problems. But I think people of faith, especially Christians, living together. I've seen people that were from like the Salvation Army, that were part of that group. Who, I mean, some of the most salt of the earth, incredible people you will ever meet. And they're not going to get into any of the problems that you're talking about. I do think faith makes a difference. And I don't think you should just immediately say, well, some of these are probably true. No. At this point, Asmon, my position is none of these happen. None of it's true. Believe no women unless there is actual evidence. I am not going to, at this point, give women any benefit of any doubt anymore. None. Because too many men's lives have been ruined based on the thinking that you're suggesting here, which is basically, okay, well, maybe not all of them, but we'll give you 30% and 70% isn't true, or 80%. No, we're giving you 0. You get 0% believability and credibility unless you can prove it. You have lost all credibility going forward, at least for the next 30, 40 years. I think that should be the standard. We are not going to vilify men, and he is vilifying men in this. Absolutely he is. But I understand he's an atheist that lives in a streaming bubble. He's probably seen the worst of humanity through these streamers. People like Minx, people like Mizkif, Ludwig, Hassan. I don't blame this guy who's an atheist, who sees all of this degeneracy and depravity and goes, wow, people are just terrible. But I don't believe this is a representation of most people.
The human condition is imperfect. And so I do think that maybe 20, 30%, maybe even 40% of some of the accusations made against Blizzard were accurate. And I think that they were true. And I think Blizzard should have been held accountable for that. But I think that a lot of the more outlandish ones, the, employee killing herself, the breast milk stuff, some of the, the Cosby room, all the, really extreme stuff, a lot of that stuff probably wasn't true. And we're not really 100% sure on this, right? But, the California government and independent investigations, and also you have people coming out and then taking back what they were saying. I mean, you put all these things together and you're starting to come to, a bit of a conclusion that maybe this didn't happen the way they said it did, right? And so if there's literally no evidence that can be found by anybody, including the government, because you've got to keep in mind that an independent investigation, I don't want to go too far off in this tangent, but it's important to keep in mind, an independent investigation does not have the power of discovery. They only have the power of basically, surrender. So, if you surrender information to them, they will be able to use that information, but they cannot legally compel you to, use information. They can't necessarily go and get deleted files. They don't have the same type of forensic capabilities that a government does. But even the government of California was not able to substantiate a lot of these claims and a lot of this evidence. So that would lead me to believe that a lot of this probably didn't happen exactly the way that it said that it happened. Now, also, there's the other culture of the frat boy culture, right? And in my opinion, I don't think this is a bad thing. Maybe this is me. Maybe this is episode 3,957 of me being a chud, okay? But I don't think that frat boy culture is fundamentally a bad thing.
No, it's not. No, it can be. We've seen it can be, but not inherently. People like Hassan Piker make frat boy culture look bad. But it's not inherently bad. Masculine energy, masculine, groups, it's not bad. I would take masculine groups creating games over feminine groups creating games. I would take men creating movies, creating comic books, creating video games over women every day of the week.
I don't think that, if you have a bunch of guys acting like young guys, or even old guys that also generally act like young guys still, they all get together and they act like assholes, they're drinking, they're, saying things that are crass, inappropriate. And I'm not talking about sexually harassing employees. I'm just talking about using coarse language and, saying the kinds of things that guys say, right? These types of things are really not a bad thing. And I think that culturally for a while, for a good, maybe 5 or 10 years, I'd say starting in 2014.
How many times do you think that Asmongold has been mistaken for a girl from somebody walking up from behind? How many times do you think Asmongold, when somebody is walking behind Asmongold, is like, oh man, look at that long hair. That must be a girl. And Asmon turns around, you can see the beard.
I would say ending in 2024 with Trump being elected, there was a idea that this level of masculinity was almost synonymous with being bad, being problematic, being something that needed to be fixed, a problem that had to be solved. And I think that now, especially because this is what happened, right? You go back and you look at the old pictures of Alex Straza, right? Okay. She's the dragon, the red dragon goddess in World of Warcraft. And
okay, well, why don't we take a moment and go look at what Alexstrasza before and after. Okay. All right, let's see. Alexstrasza before and after. Okay. So, Wrath of the Lich King on the left, that is Alexstrasza. And on the right, you have okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think the one on the left is an improvement, mainly because the one on the right is too saturated, and her face looks frumpy and just, I don't know. The one on the left seems more like fantasy. The one on the right just seems more over the top. I don't know. Pretty crazy. But I do see what he's talking about. I do see what he's saying. Yeah, that's pretty wild. What a contrast between Ratchet of the Lich King, between Wrath of the Lich King and Dragonflight. Yeah. Well, and by the way, the changes were made by people like him. People like this guy are the reason that you have to endure the alterations and changing.
A guy like this, he's the reason. Listen, guys, alright, guys, you asked for this.
Like,
you know, I guess what the Red Dragon Goddess in World of Warcraft looked like in the year 2007, right? I mean, this is obviously the hottest fucking chick with a chainmail bikini. Then they remake her, obviously, for Dragonflight, and this came right off the heels of this big sexual harassment lawsuit. And, you know, now she's wearing way more clothes. She's, like, totally toned down. Boobs are smaller, you know, all these things. And I told people, I was like, listen, guys, like, let's be a little bit pragmatic here, okay? Do you really think that they're going to, right off the heels of all of these allegations, and also in the cultural climate, the main box art character is a big titty, pretty dragon girl with a chainmail bikini? Do you really think they're going to do this? No,
yes.
They're not. It would be incredibly based if they did, but it did not happen, and it never would have happened. So it seems like this was a hit job that was done by a lot of the HR types. I think it was done also by, you know, people that are in, like, Blizzard was always, I mean, let's be real, guys. Blizzard was a chud company. It absolutely was. They made games for chuds, and it was fucking amazing. We had an incredible 20 years, didn't we? It was great. But things changed. And I think that fundamentally the culture changed so much that they found themselves in a position, because they did mismanage World of Warcraft, and I think this had nothing to do with women or, you know, like woke or anything. I think they just fucked the game up. And I think that, you know, you have stacking debuffs, and eventually so many stacking debuffs put you in execute range. And I think that really that sexual assault lawsuit really did execute the, you know, the credibility of the company, and also the capacity of the company to make a good product. I don't really think that anything that they've made ever since then has been really that great. Overwatch is fine. You know, World of Warcraft Classic is fine, or retail is fine. But I mean, nothing is like special, right? Nothing has like the same type of, like, you know, cultural relativity that World of Warcraft originally had, or Diablo 3 had, or Overwatch had, especially Overwatch, right? People see characters from Overwatch and they say, oh wow, she's from a video game? I didn't even know that. And that's where we're at. Yeah, they didn't say that in 2018 when the shit came out. It was a popular fucking game. Everybody knew about Overwatch. Now, people don't even know where the characters came from. So, anyway, this is a big problem. It's a huge problem, and I think it's really sad to think about it. I, in a way, feel guilty, you know, because obviously I was a big person who pushed this. I don't completely feel like I was wrong, in a way, but I think at the same time, you know, given this...
No, you were wrong. And here's the thing, it's okay to be wrong. Asmund, you were wrong. You were completely wrong. Here's my only issue with people like Asmund or people like Jason Schreier. That there is this reluctance to just admit that you made a mistake. With the information that you had, with your politics at the time, this was like 5 years ago. You were woke back then, Asmund. You were a little bit woke. You've changed. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Like, there's nothing wrong with evolving as a person and saying that my thoughts have changed based on the shifting climate. Back then, Asmund, you wouldn't have said anything negative about Hassan. Now you say negative things about Hassan all the time, which is great. I do think part of it is ego. Somebody in chat said it's ego. I do think part of it is ego. And that's true of everyone. You know, pride is one of the deadliest of the 7 deadly sins. But I think that Zach was woke to survive. I don't think he was necessarily woke in, who he actually was, but he was a chameleon. He changed to be more woke to protect himself and his channel, which I totally understand. But now that is sort of, the spell is worn off, Asmongold is willing to be at least a little bit more honest about some of the things that he actually believes. And on a lot of topics, Asmongold and I actually do agree. He makes fun of Hassan. He talks about deportations. I think that's great. He talks about, bringing back some sort of medieval justice system where you actually punish criminals. I think that's amazing. Yeah, it's great. But at the time, you were wrong. And the thing is, we showed Jason Schreier, he won't admit he's wrong. But Asmund, being wrong is not the end of the world. Being wrong is an opportunity to learn and grow. You say, yeah, I was wrong then, and now I'm going to learn, and now I'm going to make damn sure that I'm not wrong again. That to me is the better answer. Because we're all wrong at certain points. And you were wrong then. Let me repeat that. You were absolutely wrong. You repeated the bullshit from people like Jason Schreier, hook, line, and sinker. And now you're not. Now you're pushing back. Now you're realizing just how disgusting and rodent-like these people in the woke space are. And hopefully now you use your platform to help ruin the lives of the people that perpetuated and promoted this stuff.
Situation and everything, it does feel bad to know that, like the position that I was in, I believed a lot of this stuff, and I still believe at least some of it probably actually did happen. But at the same time, whenever you find out that you were effectively co-opted by a lie, I think everybody was, it can be very frustrating, and it can be upsetting, and it can make you feel stupid, and it's annoying that happens.
It's not about feeling stupid, Asmund, because everyone makes mistakes. No, Asmund, the only thing that you could do at this point to be stupid is to act like this guy. To act like this absolute weasel. This guy, he wrote an entire book on Blizzard. He profited off of the lies. And now he looks like a fool because not only did he go all in on the lie to even write a book and enrich himself off of it, which, I hope the $7,000 was worth it. But at the same time, now he's pretending that it's everyone else's problem. This weasel, this rat, this rodent, isn't willing to take any sort of accountability at all. This bald bastard is blaming everyone. They're not smart enough to understand that I was right the whole time. That is how you end up like a fool. This guy's a fool.
Happened. And I think that fundamentally now, one of the worst things about this is, I think this is the worst problem, is that whenever one of these big controversies happens, and then it manifests into effectively nothing, and it's even recanted and taken back, I think that what that does is it poisons the well for future survivors, for future victims, to be able to come forward and talk about bad experiences that they had. I might be a chud, I might be an asshole, I might be a...
By the way, yeah, somebody pointed out, the book is right here. He has it right out there, just so you could all see the book right there. So in this video where he's proven to be a liar, and he's proven that he lied about the whole thing, he's got his book right there for you to buy. I wonder if the book is in the description. Oh yeah, the book is in the description. The Rise, Fall, and Future of Blizzard. Wow. And even the article. Yeah. He's got the book right there. He's got a link to his book right there. Hey, let's just take a look real quick. Just for curiosity's sake. Just for curiosity's sake. Whoa! $30? $30?
Oh, man, I can see why he doesn't want to admit when it was wrong. Oh, well, yeah. I can see why he definitely didn't want to admit it was wrong. $30.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my gosh. I hope that Blizzard sues this guy into absolute oblivion. That's insane.
A bit of a sexist, but I don't think anybody should expect to go to work and be sexually harassed. I don't think anybody should expect to be touched without their consent, and I don't think that any of those things shouldn't warrant you getting fired. I think if you treat a person that way, if you invade a person's personal space, if you grab them in a way that's inappropriate, I think you need to leave the company. That's just not something that we do in civilized Western society.
Obviously.
And I think that that's been the case for a really long time.
Yeah. The problem is that women lie. Women lie a lot. And then simps cover up the women lying. That's part of the main problem. If women were always trustworthy and honest about these sort of things and didn't lie every single time, every major story about women being essayed is ending up a lie. Look at Johnny Depp. That was such a great example where, this guy, let's fire him. He's the worst. He's evil. Turns out she was a monster. They just lied about the whole thing. Yeah. The standard should be believe no woman. I actually am starting to agree with the Muslim philosophy that if a woman makes an accusation, you need 4 men as witnesses or you punish the woman. I'm only kidding, but I'm starting to see that actually does make a little bit of sense. A woman's testimony is worth like 1/4 of a man's. I'm starting to see why that was implemented. It actually makes sense.
And that's a good thing. But at the same time, I think that you need to draw the line and understand where a mixed signal or maybe an accusation isn't necessarily the truth necessarily, right? I'm not saying it isn't always the truth, but sometimes it's not. And so I think that really this should give people another reminder to trust but verify. It's important to make sure that we listen to what people who are, potential survivors or people who are, victims of these types of behaviors, we have to listen to them and at least to a certain degree understand what they're saying to be potentially true in order to investigate and figure out whether it actually is. But
Sure. You can listen to a claim and say, okay, well, maybe we'll investigate this. We'll see if it's true. But no more is the testimony of a woman going to be enough. No, her word is not enough. And Asmongo knows this because he has a friend that was the victim of this.
But at the same time, I think that especially then, and even now, we need to take ourselves away from the perspective of just looking at it from the dimension of, okay, well, this person said this, let's take it with zero evidence, right? And whenever you really go back and you think about it, and this is something that's important to keep in mind, what evidence really was presented? What evidence was really out there that Blizzard had all these huge problems? It was really just people saying this, right? There were no real pictures, there were no videos, there was no chat messages and anything that was leaked out or anything like that. It was just simply basically a he said, she said situation. Right. And so I think that what happened now is that, like we've had that happen, and now there are people that come forward and they do say like, hey, I was taken advantage of, abused, etc. And because of the bad actions of seemingly the people in California and also Blizzard making these accusations or embellishing them seemingly, now it's going to be even harder for people that are legitimate to be taken seriously. And I think that's a very, very sad and bad thing to have happen. So really, to me, I am just disappointed that, like if this hadn't happened, Blizzard would still be making games that are on the same level of aura.
No, it's not like if this hadn't happened, Blizzard would be like the best company in the world, but at the same time, it definitely eroded the company in a major way.
Like the Warlords of Draenor cinematic, like I don't think that really would have happened either way. But at the same time, I think that it definitely would be better than it is now. And the more that I read the way the California filings, almost demonize the idea that they had a certain, dominant, gender or ethnic group that was running the company, and they looked at this as like an intrinsic problem. I realized that
by the way, the company should be mostly white and mostly male. I will repeat that for you guys. The company should be run by mostly white, mostly male men. Men who are white men. If you have a problem with that, listen, Asmongold's not going to say this, I'll say this. If you have a problem with white men being the patriarchy, being, the predominant rulers of that company, I think you should be deported. I will. I would support any person who said, look, we're going to take these HR fatties, these leftists, these homosexuals, these gays, these people that are like lamenting white straight men, and we're going to deport them. We're going to get them the fuck out of the country because they don't deserve to be here. I will support anyone running on that platform.
Seems to be a hit job. This seemed to be a instance in which they wanted this company to comply with an ideology, and the company was not complying with the ideology, and then they weaponized different complaints and different, legislative and legal and administrative and judicial things to punish them for not acquiescing and not basically playing along. And I think that's really sad to see happen, especially whenever you have a lot of people who lost their jobs over this. Obviously, Blizzard, it's like you used to, a lot of people, like every game dev that I know, right, or anybody that I knew that got into game dev or whatever, they would always tell me, like, well, the dream job is to be able to work at Blizzard, right? Well, now you don't want to work at Blizzard because people ask you, like, okay, so who was drinking the breast milk, right? And it just, it's not as exciting as people that want to know what the new WoW expansion is, okay? So it's a little bit awkward, you could say. So that's really the video I wanted to talk about. Right now it's always going to be, I think it'll forever be a he said, she said situation. I think many of the accusations probably were to some degree true.
No, most of them were fake. Yeah, I mean, you can tell. You can tell because there's nothing that came from it. And the people are retracting their statement. It was an in-the-moment thing. I disagree. I think 95% of the accusations are false. I think maybe 5% of them were true. I don't give them anywhere near as much leeway as Asmongold does.
But at the extent that they were, presented, it's probably not accurate. And it seemed like Blizzard was not acquiescing to the, woke identity, politics, agenda stuff. And this was, of course, evidenced in, of course, what I said before, the filings, right? This was defined as a problem. And fundamentally, I think that there is a war on, that type of culture. And the people that use these types of rules will do this, and they will weaponize and pull every lever they possibly can. And I think that it's important that us that are normal people, right, have to make sure that we have our guard up and not let these people subvert us or lie or take advantage of us like they have many times. And I think this is just one more example of it. And I wanted to make this video and talk about it and just kind of set the record straight, at least the best that I can, because I've talked about it a lot whenever it happened. So I'd be curious to hear everybody else's thoughts on this and what everybody else thinks. And at the end of the day, I'll be keeping up with this as, more pieces of information arise. But ultimately, it's just really sad to see what happened. And I hope that, I hope things can get better. And I hope, obviously, we can move past this hysteria. I think that we already are, as evidenced by the amount of blowback and hostility.
Well, I mean, I don't think we are. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Tectone, in Texas, got a protective order against him for based on the word of a known liar, a whore, and somebody that is completely uncredible and mentally unstable. So I don't think that we're out of the woods yet at all.
For these accusations now, but it's a long road to go, and we're not there yet. But I'm glad to see at least one of these things that was bullshit be put to bed. So anyway, guys, that's about it. That's it. Wow, how about that? Who could have expected all these outlandish stories were actually seemingly mostly embellished? So,
Well, great video from Asmongold. Yeah, what I would say in response to that is, I agree largely with what he said. Here's the thing. I think that the people that profited and spread the misinformation, I think those people need to be punished severely. I think people like Jason Schreier, I think his life needs to be ruined. I think that you need to make sure that anytime this guy posts anything, anytime this guy goes out in public and goes to like a speaking event, you need to ask him questions about why he lied and profited off of this. You need to make sure that this guy doesn't feel comfortable anywhere he goes. Because this guy ruined people's lives. He lied about them and profited off of it. Now, you could argue, well, maybe he didn't know and just was repeating a lie. The dude wrote a book on it. And the fact is that him sitting there, profiting off of the misfortune of others, based on a bullshit and bunk series of stories that there was no evidence of, and there was no court case, there was nothing. Nothing. And just him speculating, oh, I talked to somebody. Well, guess what? They recanted. They retracted their statement. It's unreal. Anyway, that'll do it. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Upload this real quick. Okay. All right, brothers, we got another video to watch. We got another video to watch, brothers. Okay. Let's see. All right, let me make sure everything is working. Now, guys. All right, guys. Now, guys. You wanted this. You wanted to watch this. Now, guys. That's pretty funny. Oh, man. Let's see. All right. Shall we watch our president, fearless leader, Donald John Trump? You know what I think we're going to do? You know what I think we're going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do two things at once, boys. Are you ready? We're going to do two things at once. We're going to do two things at once. Are you guys going to be able to pay attention enough? Are you going to be able to stay locked in enough? All right. I think you can. I think we can. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Thank you, everybody.
thank you and congratulations on getting in, because you got thousands of people outside and you got would anybody like to give up their location to somebody outside? No? Okay, I figured. I wouldn't do it either. But I want to thank the great, he really is one and only Dana White, and I want to say a big hello to Las Vegas. You know, Dana had the most successful fight in history the other night at the White House. We had the White House as a little backdrop, and there were some of the greatest fights anyone's ever seen. You saw Justin Gaethje. You saw some of those fights. Every one of them was incredible. But it was the thrill of the White House. It was the whole thing. It was just, I don't think it will ever be duplicated again. It was the most successful fight, they say, ever. Although I think Mike Tyson, he's here someplace, he had some pretty damn good ones. Yeah,
Mike Tyson.
He might have topped us once or twice, Iron Mike. But I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Nevada, where thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots are just doing their thing. But before we begin, I want to send our love and heartfelt prayers to the family and loved ones of the brave, I hear he was an incredible young man, Las Vegas police officer, Austin, Abdel Nabi, a lot of you knew him, who was shot and killed in the line of duty yesterday afternoon. It was a big deal, a big story, and it should be a big story. And gunned down by a savage criminal at just 30 years old.
Oh my God.
And Austin died a hero, and he will never be forgotten, never going to be forgotten. So, to every law enforcement officer here today, we thank you for your service, and we say God bless the men and women of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and frankly, all of law enforcement. With the help of so many Nevada patriots here today, we have a lot of them. In 2024, we won the state in a landslide. It was a big, beautiful, well, no tax on tips didn't hurt, did it? Remember, I said it, and by the way, I said it and I got it done. You know, a lot of people say it, they don't get it done. But I remember I said it, and about a month and a half, 2 months later, she came out and she said, that's Kamala, because by this time Biden was gone. He went bye-bye. And Kamala came out.
Mentally gone.
She said,
He's a vegetable.
No tax on tips. What does that mean? She didn't know what it meant. And people cast her aside. They didn't believe it. She was a little late. She was a little bit late. But right now, it's one of the best things. I mean, it's one of the greatest things. People are making a lot of money, no tax on tips, and it's great. And the best thing, and the thing I'm most proud of, because a lot of people would say it's a little bit, tends to be a Democrat state, but not when I'm running, because we had more votes than any candidate in the history of Nevada. Wow. Actually, by far. By far. So every day since, I've been fighting for the people of Nevada like no president has ever fought before, and the people of our country. When we took office, we inherited a total catastrophe. Biden and the radical left, Democrats. I call them Democrats because their policies are so dumb.
I call them Democrats because they're dumb.
You exchange the E with a U, and nobody knows that dumb doesn't have a B. Democrats. I can't imagine I didn't think about that 10 years ago when I started this whole situation.
Mr. President.
But the Democrats created the worst inflation in 48 years. They had the worst inflation. I inherited those high prices, just so you understand. I inherited them. Wide open borders with millions of people pouring in from all over the globe, from drug dealers and people in prison. They opened up their prisons from all over the world, including from the world's worst prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. We had transgender for everybody.
Not transgender for everyone.
We had men playing in women's sports. How's that one? We had a big win on that.
We don't want transgender for everyone.
Crime was ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us. But they're not laughing anymore. They're not laughing anymore.
They're not laughing anymore.
They
No,
don't
sir.
laugh anymore. We had a president that nobody respected. Nobody thought anything about him. Everybody took advantage of him.
True.
Everybody took advantage of him. It was sad, actually.
Yep.
Including his own family took advantage of him.
That's damn
But
damn right.
America's
You know
respected
it's right.
again, like we have never been respected before. We've never been respected at this level before. And less than 2 years ago, and you've heard this said, this was said by the King of Saudi Arabia, he told me a year ago. That time the dates were a little different, but the statement was the same. He said, President, a year ago, your country was dead. It was a dead country. We never thought it was coming back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's true. At the hottest country.
We got the hottest country anywhere in the world.
And I'm not getting credit from the fake news for what I've done. I never have gotten credit. I don't get credit. Dana, I don't get any credit for anything. Everything I do.
That's true. It's a very thankless
Even
job.
prescription drug prices, where they're down 4, 5, 600. Think of it, 600%. Favored nations. We had the highest prices in the world, and now we have the lowest prices. The press won't write about it. They don't give me any credit.
Yeah.
But look at the bright side. I'm president, so you gave me credit. Right?
Well, that's one way of looking at it, I guess.
Like, you had a big election last night, and a lot of people running, and I endorsed a lot of candidates. And the end result, I was 28 wins and 1 loss, who was a little bit of a person that I thought was a good person. Didn't have much of a chance, but I said, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. Good person.
Yeah.
Very good. Very respected, but nobody knew who the person was. But it was 28-1 last night on endorsements, and numerous of them were outliers. An outlier is a person that doesn't have a chance. But if you studied the fake news today, you'd think that it was just the opposite. It was like 1 in 28. No, it was 28-1 last night.
Yeah.
And I have to be truthful, because if I'm not truthful, look at all the press. They have a lot of press here. Well, this is all on live television, every word. If you make one little mistake, one little exaggeration, they go after you with... Now, when Biden made mistakes, that's all he did, is make mistakes. Nobody ever
That's
went
all
after
he
him.
did was make mistakes.
But all they talked about was the one, and that's why they call him the fake news. It's just pretty bad. But they really do want to, you take a look at the facts. They don't want to see, they don't want to have you see the facts, because what we've done is really amazing. We will really put it all together like you've never seen, and that's what we've been doing.
Yes, sir.
We put it together at levels that have never been seen in this country before. Just yesterday it was announced that American exports are totally on fire in a positive way. This is a positive fire, not a negative. Sometimes you say, oh, that's too bad, They'll say,
Oh,
that's
it's on
too bad.
fire.
It's on fire. It's on fire in a very positive way. And they've skyrocketed exports to the highest level in American history. Think of that, exports. Think of that.
The highest
Think of what that
exports.
means.
No one's
Exports
ever
have
been
gone
higher.
to the highest level in history. That means somebody's doing a good job, because we didn't have good exports. 2 years ago, we didn't have anything like that. We were dead. The United States is on track to export unprecedented $2.5 trillion in goods this year alone, something everyone thought was impossible. Just a number like that was not even thinkable. If I ever said it, I wouldn't have even said it, because even I didn't think we could do that well, but we did. And I want to
even
thank
I
all
didn't
of
think
the
we'd do that well.
policies and all of the things
man.
we put it together between the tariffs that have been the tariffs have
Can I turn the
made
game
us
down a
rich.
bit?
Remember, I used to say that tariffs are my favorite word. I love tariffs. They're my favorite word in the dictionary. Tariff. I love tariffs, right? Because we've been screwed by tariffs used against us for years by China, by Japan, by South Korea, by Germany, by everybody, by Canada. Canada's nasty. They are. They're nasty. People think Canada, they're nasty. I love the people, but they're nasty. Nasty leadership. And Mexico, they all did it to us. But now that doesn't work anymore because we turned the table on everybody, and that's why you're seeing numbers like you've never seen before. This week, as an example, it was announced
what
that
happened?
manufacturing is exploding at the fastest pace in many years. Nobody thought this would ever happen again. Do you remember, did you ever hear of a man named Barack Hussein Obama? He said, we will never be a manufacturing country again. And he meant it.
Wait,
He
what?
meant it. It was pathetic what had happened.
Come on.
Our businesses were stolen by foreign countries. They're all coming back. They're coming roaring back. More automobile factories are being built in the United States right now than at any time in the history of our country. Think of that.
Oh, my
we
gosh.
didn't have a
I'm
plant
gonna
built
throw this
for
thing out the window.
years. And now we have more
What the
plants.
heck
They're
is
all
happening?
coming back from Germany, from South Korea, from Japan, from Canada, and from Mexico, from all over. They're coming back because if they don't, they have to pay massive tariffs at the gate. I call them tariffs at the gate. But it is true, I was criticized very badly because I said it was my favorite word.
Discard.
They said, what about God? What about wife, family? What about all of the things that make your life so wonderful?
Haven't been applied.
So I moved it to my fifth favorite word, and now, no, the press was,
I gotta press Y.
the press was killing me. I'll never forget, I said, terror's my favorite word, I love it, I got killed. But now I say it's number 5, and I'm in good shape, but it's made us rich. It's made us rich. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. More importantly, in order to not pay the tariff, all these companies are moving in and building their plants, a lot of them being built in Nevada. A lot of
Is
them.
that better? You gotta let me know.
That man
You
right
gotta let
there,
me know if it's
Mr.
better.
Wall, please stand up. Look at him. He's a rich guy. Could
Did
believe-
Trump buy some hair? A
You know
little
what? He's a
fuller up
rich
top.
guy.
I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe that's
He
a
must have been
raccoon
to
on his head. I
300
don't know.
rallies, I think more than that. He's loaded. You had him checked out, a little bit shaky there. Say, what's with that guy with the Wall outfit? I'm going to get one of their. I'm going to wear it one day. I'm telling you. And they checked him out. They said,
You guys
got to
let me know if the audio
He
is
goes
good.
to so many rallies, and we do love you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. And our great front row Joes and our great women from North Carolina, they travel all over the place. They're loaded. They're beautiful. I don't know what the hell's going on with their home life, but they travel. They've gone to hundreds of these. But here in Nevada, we've created over 40,000 new jobs and lifted nearly 100,000 Nevadans off of food stamps. Think of it. And they don't want to be on food stamps because they've got new jobs. They've got jobs. They don't need food stamps.
True.
Last month, inflation dropped at the fastest rate it's dropped in many years, and more Americans are working today. So the biggest thing for this whole thing, more Americans are working in the United States right now than at any point in the history of our country.
Wow.
Think of that.
More Americans are working now? No.
Think of it. You don't hear that. I saw polls today on television. I say, Donald Trump polls on the economy aren't good. The economy is the greatest economy we've ever had by far. The economy aren't good. They're fake polls, just like fake writers. But think of it. And his
Prices are
stance on
too high.
immigration. Immigration. In 30 days, I stopped millions and millions of people from invading our country.
Yeah. Need to do more.
Think of it. Our country was being invaded. 25 million people poured through our southern border, and they came from jails, and they were drug dealers, and they were people from mental institutions. They were mental institutions all over the world, not just South America, all over the world. They opened their doors, they brought them into the southern border, and they released them into our country. We're getting them all out. They're all getting out very fast. They're all getting out very fast. But think of it. Nobody ever thought a thing like this could happen. And in the last 15 months, and these are reports, and you've heard me say this before, It's 14, it's 13, it's 12, depending. But now
Yeah,
it's
inflation
15
is still
months,
too
right?
high, and
Not
so are
one
prices.
person has been allowed to come into our country illegally, and that's been done by the Democrats who do the reports. I'm sure they're happy with it. Can't have a country without a border. Can't have a country without a border. And you can't have a country without free and fair elections, too. So we want voter ID, and we want proof of citizenship. But we're rocking, we're rolling. This country is great. What's happening to this country is great. And, ultimately, they're not going to be able to stop this because what's happening is too good. But think of that. I got criticized on immigration. When I took over, millions of people were pouring into our country.
I think
millions.
Trump needs to
and
do
they
better
weren't
on
necessarily, I don't want to say it, but they weren't
Yeah,
necessarily
comparing yourself to Biden
the
is
people
not-
you want, because they did.
Are they better
They
than
came
Biden?
from jails
Yeah,
from all
yeah,
over the
yeah.
world.
You know,
They came from all of these different places.
couldn't do worse.
Drug deals, 11,888 murders, 50%, more than 50% of whom created or killed more than two people. So think of this. So you had 11,880. That's the number of murders that came in, according to every statistic. And we checked the charts. 11,888 murderers. Many of these people killed more than one or
that seems
two
low.
people. And do you think they're going to be great citizens or not? They came in totally unchecked, totally unvetted, and our country was a mess. Our country was going down, and now our country is it's strong again, and it's respected again. And the stock market has set 74 all-time highs just since our short time that we've been back. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in my first term. You know that. This is going to blow it away. It already is, I think, but this is blowing it away. 74, the highest stock markets in history. Yesterday it went up almost 1,000 points, right?
Yeah, but the
And
stock market price
the
isn't
typical American
necessarily indicative of a
401k
strong economy.
is up much more than $30,000 and setting records day after day, week after week.
Yeah.
And more money is being invested right now in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. Money is pouring into. They want to invest in the United States. Before, they wanted to de-invest. They want their money out. That's what was happening. People were taking their money out. Now they're all putting it in. They love the safety of this country as run properly by us. And it's not me, it's us, because you're the people that built the country, believe me. In 4 long years of sleepy Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
And the very corrupt, and it was the most corrupt administration, they got less than $1 trillion of new investment in our country. So think of this. 4 years, not 1 year, 4 years, less than $1 trillion invested. And it was going down. They would have had de-investment, it's called. In 1 year, so he had 4 years, less than one. In 1 year, my administration secured commitments of more than $19.2 trillion in new investment from all over the globe. And that's a record that's 5 times greater than any country in history. Think of that. The sad part is, I say this to Dana because he understands, I say it to Fertitta. The brothers, they're smart too. What a beautiful families. Are they loaded? They're loaded. They own this hotel, They own this beautiful hotel, which I'm sure is doing well because everything they have does well. And a guy like Phil Ruffin's here, one of the greatest gamblers in the world, but also one of the greatest businessmen in the world. He made a fortune here, but he made a fortune every place he goes. He just makes money. I don't know. He's a money machine. The great Phil Ruffin.
It must be nice.
And Alexandra, his much more incredible wife. I'm more impressed by her.
Everyone's rich except for
Phil has
the
made
people
a
in the
fortune
country.
no matter where he went. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's incredible.
Yeah.
We have incredible people here. But right here in Nevada, General Motors and Lithium Americas are investing up to $1.6 billion to build the Thacker Pass mine. Many people in this audience are going to be working there, and you are working there. And Forge Industries and others are investing $150 million in manufacturing facilities in North Las Vegas. And we have, in just this small area, you have your governor here today, in just this small, who's running, and
I want to be a money machine too.
Win by a big number. Where's our governor?
Boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Where's our governor? He's doing a great job. You got to get him. He's in a re-election. I can't believe time flies so fast, Governor. Very importantly for the people of the state, with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress last year, I signed the great, big, beautiful bill giving you the largest tax cuts in American history.
Bill. It's so beautiful. It's so big.
You got no tax on tips that Dana was talking about. So if you're a waiter, a waitress, a bartender, a bellhop, a caddy — I love caddies — a valet, a hotel worker, taxi driver in Las Vegas or anywhere else, anywhere, you pay zero taxes on your tipped income. You know, I was having dinner with a group of people, including Ruffin, and we were talking, a lot of people, smart people, and beautiful waitress came over. I'm not allowed to say that today, but I'll say it anyway. She was beautiful. What can I say? She was beautiful. In my place, steak, good steak, by the way. So we're eating, and this beautiful young lady walks over, and I said, "How you doing? Everything good?" "Sir, they're taxing me to death." I said, "Really? What are they taxing? They're taxing my tips." "Sir, they should have no tax on tips." I said, "Say it again."
Say it again.
Say those words again. "Sir, they should have no tax on tips." I said, boy, that got me. I think that, Governor, I think that might have got me this massive victory that we had in this state.
Yeah, it was some woman.
And we had those people. See all those people back there, the fake news. And in the middle of my meal, I gathered them together right outside the door to the steakhouse. And I said, "Are you ready to go?" "Yes, yes, sir, we're ready." The cameras. "We will have no tax on tips." And it became an overnight sensation. That's how it happened, actually. That's how she was my consultant.
No tax on tips, huh?
She did a better job than, you know, you hire these people, you pay them millions of dollars, they don't come up with crap. Takes a waitress from Las Vegas to give us some good ideas.
It's the stock market value says nothing about whether people in the country have jobs.
And then we also gave you something that some of you are, especially if you're in the construction stuff.
I mean, Trump is obviously pandering
no tax
to
on overtime, you know.
the people in the room that are
week,
obviously extremely wealthy.
I'm building this big military
But,
complexes, including
people that are not
a lot
rich,
of different
it
things,
just
and some of the things I can't even talk about, although it's become very public.
Sort
It's
of
like
just
usual, everything I do. They get sued,
the economy is great. Well.
Been sued for.
No,
I've been sued. I think I've been sued more times than any human being in history. But it's unbelievable what's happening. It's a tremendous military complex, and for 150 years at the White House, we don't have a ballroom. We don't have a big space. You can seat like 80, 90 people. So we're building a ballroom that everybody's going to be the most beautiful ball. I don't care, Fertitta, what your ballroom is. This your ballroom? I'm telling you, Fertitta, that's going to be nice, sir. Much nice. But this is very nice. I want to be nice. But I'm building they wanted it for 150 years, and I was out, and they're really moving along. We're ahead of schedule. And it was a Sunday morning. They should be in church, so I don't want to get them in trouble. But there were a lot of men working on Sunday. There were a lot of men working late into the night. They work until 12 in the evening. They go till 12 in the evening. And this one morning, I went over and gathered a group of about 150 people. Guys, some women, good workers, great people. And I said, "You gotta love me, because you're making all this overtime working on Saturdays and Sundays and late, and there's no tax on overtime." Did everybody vote for me? And they all said, "Yeah, I vote." No, you know what that is? A lot of people, the tax on overtime was so great they didn't even want to do it. Now they love doing it. There's a lot of work going on overtime. No tax on overtime. And then You maybe have the granddaddy of them all. No tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Yeah, that's nice.
And we made interest on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car's made in America. That's, you know, people that are, let's call it middle income, successful, but they never had, like Fertitta, they never had the advantage, or Phil Ruffin, they never had the advantage of a thing called deductions, right? A lot of rich people live on the word deduction. They've never had it. We give, so you buy a car, you borrow money, and you're now allowed to deduct for income tax purposes. You're allowed to deduct the interest that you're paying on the loan. Nobody ever thought it. That was my baby. And it's, but only if the car's made here. If the car's made outside, we don't care.
America.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't want you to buy cars not made in it. We want to be made in America. Beautiful term. It's back. It's back. This past filing season, 440,000 tipped workers right here in Nevada saved an average of $10,000 on their taxes. Think of that. Just on the no tax on tips. So that means every worker saved, this is put out by the government, check it out. I always say that because they always try and get me. They say, oh, it wasn't 10,000. It was 9,912. Think of it, every worker made $10,000 more money. That's all because of the fact that I said I was going to do it, and I got it done.
Yeah.
We got it done.
Everything costs more.
The Republican Party got it done.
Well, that is a win.
And
I
the
do want to see
Democrats
more
will
people getting
terminate
more
it
money.
if they ever take office. They will terminate that. They were able to do that.
No,
we can't let that
absolutely
happen.
true.
150,000 Nevada workers saved an average of more than $3,000 thanks to the no tax on overtime. So that's 10,000, 3,000. And 500,000 Nevada seniors, I didn't know you had that many seniors here, paid $0 on their Social Security benefits thanks to no tax on Social Security. It's a lot of money. But while the Trump administration and our allies in Congress, the Republican Party, they've done a great job. That bill is the greatest bill. I think it's one of the most impactful bills ever. You know, and it was supposed to be 17 different bills. And they said, I don't think we can, these are lunatics we're dealing with, the Democrats. I said, I don't think we'll ever get that many. Let's put everything into one. That's how we call it. It's actually called the one big, but I call it the great big, because I like that term better. I named it the one big, and then I said, why didn't I call it the great big? But I use it all the time.
The great big beautiful
But that
bill.
was all the great big beautiful bill. Governor, nobody thought we were going to get that passed. Everything was put in there for 4 years. I mean, it's basically, and now we're asking for more, because, you know, we're greedy. Now we're asking for a lot of other things. A lot of other things are in the hopper. A lot of other good things, not bad things. Good things for you. But in Congress, we're working every day to defend the American dream for you and your children. The radical left, the maniacs, they're trying to destroy it with the disaster known as not socialism, communism. It's communism. These are communists. And the polls were wrong again last night when they thought it would be a landslide victory for a hater of Jews and a hater of Israel. This guy hates Jews. Somebody said, oh, that's a little strong. No, he hates Jews and he hates Israel. Abdul El-Sayed. Can you believe this?
I saw his friend.
This could only happen to me. Abdul El-Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate. And now he's going around saying, no, I love everybody. He doesn't love everybody. Put him in office. You're going to find out what he loves.
Yeah.
He doesn't love Israel. He doesn't love Jewish people. He hates them. He hates them with a passion that burns in his heart, and there's not a frickin' thing he can do about it. There's not a thing he can do about it because he hates them. And in Michigan, it was really very close. The press, you know, the polls and the polls by the press. Oftentimes, the press hires the polls. They want to have it a certain way, but the polls got it really wrong because it was supposed to be a blowaway. And he almost lost. But he's going to lose to our great candidate. We have a great candidate.
Mike Rogers.
Great candidate. But the socialist candidate ran up big margins against the communist candidate in Detroit, and I was saying that probably it's corrupt. You know, it's probably corrupt. I don't know who the hell they wanted. I couldn't care less. We do better. Actually, we do better against the communists, according to every poll. The poll says we do better against the communists. So he won, and so I think I'm happy. I put out a statement. Congratulations to the Republican Party. The communists want to take their ruinous and deadly ideology of misery and squalor to every state in America, but we're not going to let them. And I will say this, one of the things that I have seen with communism throughout the world, I see a lot of different places being president. I see a lot of results, too, a lot of bad results when you have the wrong people and the wrong ideology.
Yeah,
but
no,
one
he's
of the
not
things
wrong.
I see, and you see it here in the blue states run by Democrats, everything's filthy dirty all the time. The cities stink, they smell, the sidewalks are loaded with
He's
horrible
not
stuff. I
wrong.
don't want to use the term because my wife will get she hates it when I use the term. I use it, but she doesn't love it. She hates it when I imitate no men and women sports. She hates it when I do the weightlifting. She said, it's not presidential. I said, well, it may not be presidential, but I won the election in a landslide, so I don't know. Right? We won it. Really.
It's not presidential, but I'm the president, so
Well,
whatever I
she's
say
very
goes.
elegant, you know. Melania says hello to everybody, by the way. But she's very, very elegant. She did a movie. It was, I think it's the #1 movie of the year. Can you believe? But she's very elegant. She hates, as an example, at the end, we're finished. There's a lot of love in the room. Look, what's not to be loved? We have great borders. Our military is the greatest in the world, the strongest. We inherited a terrible mess. I inherited a mess from Obama, and I inherited, frankly, I rebuilt
Is
the military.
Trump live?
But a lot of our military was badly jeopardized.
No, I think
badly
this is
jeopardized
recorded.
by Sleepy Joe Biden. I mean, they gave everything. They gave so much away. $350 billion,
Sorry,
I would say, is a
Abdul.
lot of money. Even for Dana White, that's a lot of money, you know? Gave away 350. I sell everything. They were willing to pay. It's the Europeans. They have plenty of money. They don't have a good military because they've relied on us too long. They can't. I told them you can't do that, NATO. But their military said, we will send you things, but you got to pay for them. They said, okay. Now Biden could have said the same thing. He gave everything for free, and it really messed things up. But fortunately, we have it so strong, and we've been building like never before. And it's all made in America. You know, it's all made. A lot of it's made right here. But on the communists, just listen to the official platform of the deranged communists. And these are the people running, and they're trying to run as a big danger to our country, whose agenda is now being championed by the Democrat members of the United States Congress. They have officially endorsed defunding the police, defunding the United States military, abolishing and giving up prisons. They do not want prisons, because nobody deserves to be in prison, even a person that's killed 10 people.
Yeah.
Abolishing ICE. They don't want ICE. ICE are among our greatest patriots. Remember that. And these guys, what they do when they have to get Tren de Aragua from Venezuela. But now I love Venezuela. You know, I love it. We're doing great at Venezuela. We're taking a lot of oil from Venezuela, and we're getting along great with them. Billions and billions of barrels of oil is coming out of Venezuela. It's one of the most fertile places for oil in the world. And as you know, it was a 48-minute war, lasted 48 minutes.
Now I
and
love
we paid for the
Venezuela.
war with what we've taken out many
Now I
times.
love
Where have you heard that
Venezuela.
before?
Now
You
that-
haven't heard that before.
Now that we took
the old-fashioned
Maduro.
way, right? That's the old-fashioned way. To the victor belong the spoils, right? And we're doing the same thing, by the way, in
To the-
the lovely Islamic Republic of
To
Iran.
the
We're
victor
doing-
go
we're
the
knocking hell out.
spoils. Wow.
Knocking the hell out.
He really said that. To
I'd
the
rather
victor
make a
go the
deal.
spoils.
Because I don't want to kill people. I do not want to kill people. But at some point, we were set for the biggest attack of any attack, and we've hit them very hard for the last few months. But we were all set for the biggest attack since World War II, and they called me and they said, "Please don't do it. Let's talk." And then they said, "We never said that." You know what? The fake news knows they did say that, but we are talking. Let's see what happens. But they respect us. They respect us. It's been 47 years, but really it's been 50 years because they've been saying 47 for 3 years. It's been 50 years, and no other president has done what you should have done a long time ago, because Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Can't have it. But just last week, Kamala Harris called for eliminating the Electoral College. And she said she wants to pack the Supreme Court, and the number is 23 justices. We have 9. She wants Marxist judges who all stick together. You know, the Republican judges or justices don't stick together. They don't stick together. But these 3 people that they have, they're like glue. They never veer. And in many ways, I respect that. I must tell you, they're horrible for our country. It's too bad they're on. A couple of them just don't belong. I'd like to fire them. I'd fire them if I could.
You're fired.
I'm just responding for the meeting. I'm just responding to them. They'll say, Trump wants to fire the judges. That'll be the... No, I'm just responding. I'm just responding. The man said, fire them, sir, fire them.
Yeah, fire
the
them,
Communist
please.
Platform also calls for legalizing heroin and fentanyl. And by the way, we have no fentanyl coming in by sea anymore, practically. None. Almost none. 97% down. Think of it. Coming by sea. They come by sea. They said, oh, this is so lovely out. They have their little boat loaded up with fentanyl, enough to kill 25,000 people a boat. That's what you have. Ruined families. So you don't feel as bad when you do what we did. But we hit them very hard. And we cut it. It was, you know, for years, people would go out. They'd have the Coast Guard, our great Coast Guard, go out, pull them over, bring them to court. The judge would look at them, let them go. They'd give them a little fine. They'd go back. They'd be on a boat the next day, the next night, doing the same thing. We hit them. That's it.
Yeah.
We're down 97.2%.
This is from yesterday.
97.2. Actually, people are trying to find out who are the 3%, because they are the bravest human beings on earth, okay? Maybe they just don't watch television or read the newspapers. Thank you very much. Thank you. But the radical left wants to ban a thing called gasoline. Gasoline.
Yeah.
We have 1,000 years of gasoline, and it's what people prefer. And, you know, I ended the electric mandate. I don't want to talk about it because Elon wasn't exactly thrilled with me, but I had to do it. We love Elon. But I ended
Oh, we love Elon
because
again,
it
huh?
said that within a very short period of time, like 2030, everybody had to have an electric car, even though there was no way you could charge it. You ever see the signs you're driving along in an electric car? They have a disease. You know, it's a disease. It's called, like, they get screwed up, they're driving. And they realize their battery's getting low, and they start thinking about it when it's 3/4 full. Okay, it loses a little bit. They say, where am I going to? And you're driving down the highway, and you'll see a sign, electric charging station with an arrow, 89 miles to the right. These people are crazy. And I like electric cars. You know, we sell 7% of our cars, despite all of the taxes and all of the things that we gave away, 7%. But the thing is, we have unlimited, we have more gasoline, but we have more oil and gas than any country in the world. Now you add Venezuela to it, add that, and we have 60% of the world's oil and gas, including Venezuela. Think of that. What a great thing. By the way, we have a great relationship, I want to tell you, with Venezuela. They've been great.
Now that we've taken their leader, yeah.
Calls for full amnesty and
Amazing
voting
how
rights
that works,
for
huh?
25 to 50 million illegal aliens. That's probably why they allowed them in, because they want them to vote. And actually, I won the Hispanic vote. Can you believe it? I won the Hispanic vote. So they may have misplayed that. They support allowing
Hello,
American
what am I
service
missing?
members to be arrested,
I don't
given
know. It says
show trials, and imprisoned by
the one that is a
foreign
Sonic
globalist
fan. Are you a
tribunals
fan of
controlled
Sonic
by
the
our
Hedgehog?
enemies. They allow our soldiers to be arrested and
Or are
tried
you a
in
fan
a
of
foreign land
the
and put in jail
restaurant
for the
Sonic?
rest of that soldier's life. Doesn't happen anymore. And in Wisconsin, the communists even have a woman who said that the holiday of Thanksgiving should be immediately abolished, and the police only exist to, quote, uphold white supremacy, that the police are there for white person.
Oh, my gosh.
Think of it. White supremacy.
What a retard.
These people are dangerous, and frankly, they're lunatics. They're crazy, and we can't let them get into office. Communism is the greatest threat to our country in its history, including even World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11.
True.
I think it's the greatest threat. I could be the greatest communist in history. I tell everybody here, would you like a free house? We'll take one from your neighbor.
Be the greatest
Would you like free
communist in
rent?
history.
We'll take
No,
it from
Mr.
whoever.
President,
we'll take the
no!
building away from the landlord that makes 2%, and we'll run the building ourselves. What they don't say, and what Republicans should say, is that at the end of a year, you'll have nothing but death, squalor, poverty. You'll have a life of hell. And that's what happens every single time.
True.
You look at Venezuela, where it was such a rich country 20 years ago, 22 years ago, and it happened, and we've really helped them, and we're going to help them. But, you know, they're lucky because they're sitting on massive oil reserves, but we are going to help the people that we want to help. But every time this has happened, and you do that, you go through squalor, and add the word again, filth, crime, death, destruction, embarrassment. You lose your home, you lose your apartment, and that's where the communists will take us 100%. When I watch Abdul, he's full of shit.
Yeah! 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 Suffer, son! Suffer, Islamist! Yeah, you full of shit!
So, if you remember, during my State of the Union speech from a little while ago, I made a very strong statement. I said that America will never be a socialist country. And I was right. What I didn't say is what they're trying to do, they want to skip socialism. They want to go right down to the bottom of the barrel. That's communism. They want it to be a communist country. We're not letting them have it as a communist country, not even for a minute. Not even for a minute. Together we will defeat communism, socialism, and Marxism in America once and for all. It's defeated. It's going to go down. It always goes down, but sometimes it takes a lot of people with it. It takes too long. You got to nip it in the bud. The Democrat communists in Congress claim to stand for working people, but every single one voted against our tax cuts. They voted against securing the border. They wanted open borders. The Democrats voted against securing the border. They want to raise your taxes to levels that you've never had to pay before. Remember this. They want to raise your taxes. You know, all my life I've been watching politics.
They want to pervert your kids.
I'd be doing this. Who the hell ever thought I'd be doing this?
They want to, make LGBTQ marriage the norm.
All my life I've been watching. And every
people are
politician,
disgusting.
Democrat, Republican, they always said, we will cut your taxes, even if they didn't have any intention of doing it. They always say it. You know, I said, that guy is lying. He's not telling the truth. But I'd watch, we will cut your tax. These guys say we will raise your tax. They say we're going to raise your taxes. I never heard of anything. And then they actually get votes. The whole thing is crazy. But they voted against no tax on tips. They voted against no tax on overtime. They voted against no tax on Social Security. But when I say voted against, 100%.
Yeah,
There wasn't one
that's true.
Democrat.
100% of the Democrats voted
in
against this
favor
stuff. Yeah.
of these incredible things like voter ID and proof of citizenship. They voted against that, even though the actual Democrats, think of it, the Democrats want it. You know who doesn't want it? The politicians, because they'll never get elected again. If you had fair and strong elections, they would lose 25% of their base. They would never be elected again.
Yeah. No, he's right.
And I'm trying to explain that to Republicans, but some of them don't quite understand it.
Yeah. Those Republicans got to go.
They don't understand it because they're good people. They're good people. They don't know how crooked these people are. I've dealt with a lot of crooked people in my life. They don't know how bad these people are. We got to get the Republicans to be tougher, especially in the Senate, especially in our Senate. Got to get the senators in there. They got to be tough. But they voted in favor of the transgender mutilization of your children.
True.
And they voted in favor of men and women's sports. Can you imagine? But while the Democrat communists are voting to destroy America, we're making our country safer, stronger, far more successful than it has ever been before. It's more successful than it's ever been before. One of the most important parts of our great, big, beautiful bill is the Trump accounts, giving every child a tax-free investment.
That's pretty cool.
It's an account, and it's really giving them a head start on the American dream and it's become overwhelmingly close to 8 million people have already been signed up. Every newborn baby gets $1,000 deposited in their Trump account at birth.
Wow.
That's right out of the federal government. $1,000, you baby, $1,000. And generous individuals like Michael and Susan Dell Computer. Go out and buy a Dell computer. Brad Gerstner, Micron,
Wow. So you have a
Apple,
baby,
so
you
many
get
companies.
$1,000.
They go out there spending billions and billions of dollars. Michael and Susan put up $6,250 million, and now he wants to do it again. He says it's the greatest thing he's ever done. It's great. And others. We have a man, he's taken over the state, all the children. He's putting in the state of Indiana, great state, putting $1,000 into all of these young children.
That's
Think of it.
nice.
A child, in many cases, they're born into pretty close to poverty, or they're poor. They don't have money. They start off with $1,000, and it's going to duplicate, and they can end up with $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 if the market what, like for the last year of the market, you'd end up with $1 million. But let's not count on that, because other people will take my place and they'll screw it up 100%. But think of what you're doing for those children, that have no money at all at 18, and now they'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a great thing and very popular.
That is pretty cool. I mean, I got to admit, that is...
And that's all because of the great, big, beautiful bill. We had to get that approved. And
that's
again,
pretty cool.
Not one Democrat, the only way we could do it, we had to get a unified Republican Party, because we didn't get one Democrat vote for the great, big, beautiful bill where these children are given $1,000 at birth. We couldn't get them to vote. You know why? Because they thought it was a great idea. They wish they thought of it. You know why? Because they have Trump derangement syndrome. That's why. Because they're sick. There's something wrong with them. Remember at the State of the Union when I was saying, introducing a great war hero, 104 years old, he fought in World War II and this, and they sat like they never moved. I introduced the helicopter pilot who was so brave he had his leg practically shot off in Venezuela, landing the troops in Venezuela, big Chinook helicopter, loaded up with many, many troops. I'm not supposed to say how many, but a lot. And it had to land in a certain spot, or the whole thing could have been a Jimmy Carter disaster. You remember that? We don't want Jimmy Carter disasters. We don't have that. And he's landing, this good, handsome guy. You saw him, got the Congressional Medal of Honor. We gave it to him. But But remember, I introduced him, told him how brave he was. His leg was practically shot
Yeah,
off
Democrats
because it was
had
shot
nothing to say.
from
Didn't even
underneath
stand
the
up for a
machine gun,
second.
from right underneath the helicopter. It
disgusting.
was very close to the ground, and he kept it going. And they ended up getting this. He turned it, and the snipers got him. Oh, the whole thing was crazy. But that they can do this is incredible. So I'm presenting him with he saved all those lives and made this attack. We went in and got Maduro. Within 30 minutes, the whole thing was over. It was in a military base with thousands of soldiers. 219 guys went in, and a few women, by the way, tough. They're tougher than any of the men sitting in the front row, and I know those men. They went in.
All right,
Come
come on.
They got Maduro. They got
that's
his wife because she
retarded.
was as bad as him, and they took him out, and he was protected by steel doors. This is the middle of a military base. This was all steel. What they did is incredible. So I'm introducing him for the Congressional Medal of Honor, and the Republicans and everybody else in the room stands up, and they're going wild. Just a very brave guy. No, they say people that fly helicopters, because you fly them with your feet, more or less. And here's a guy with a leg that's practically falling off. And so I'm introducing him, and the Republicans go on. The Democrats, remember, just sat like this. Remember?
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
But something happened because they were getting killed. Every person I introduced was the same. The mother of the young girl from North Carolina who had her throat slit from the back by an animal because the governor allowed that guy to be free. The governor, who's now running for the Senate. That man should not be able to be elected. Vote for Michael Whatley, by the way, he's great. The governor allowed that animal, and he cut her from behind, cut her neck like nothing. She was almost dead immediately. It's on tape. It's on tape, and the thing takes forever to try. Can you imagine? Here it is on tape. They'll probably find a good reason. They get some nice liberal lawyer to say he was badly abused. He should go free, you know. But think of it. Think of it. Think of how sick these people are to let a guy like that out.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't allow that governor. You know, that was worse than Willie Horton. You remember Willie Horton? This was Willie Horton, modern day. And that guy, that governor, shouldn't be allowed to run for governor because crime in North Carolina under him went through the roof. And he shouldn't be allowed. Michael Whatley should be your governor. But we're pleased to be joined today by two loving parents, Sandra and Brad, from right here in Las Vegas, two great people. Sandra's a waitress in a nearby casino. Maybe we'll get her a job over here. And Brad is a hardworking Las Vegas Metropolitan police officer. And together they save thousands of dollars thanks to no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. And they're investing their money into Sandra's education and Trump accounts, where they just bought Trump accounts for their two young children. So Sandra and Brad, please come up, wherever you may be. Please come up. Come on up. Don't worry about Secret Service.
Don't worry about Secret Service.
Up. That's great. That's a beautiful family. Oh, great. Please say so. Thank you. It's my honor.
All right, let's go.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Oh, goodness. Thank you. It's truly an honor. It's truly an honor to stand here before you and speak. Sorry, excuse me. I have a little mom brain going on right now. I'm so sorry. No, he's going to take off. Thank you. Thank you. Truly, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be here today. Thank you so much for all that you've done enacting these policies that help our family and the families of millions of hardworking Americans. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've worked in the service industry for 15 years. When I first moved here to this beautiful city of Las Vegas, I had 3 jobs working for tips. Working for tips has been my livelihood, and policies like these are truly incredible. Yes, thank you, sir. every
I
dollar
mean, that's
saved
endearing.
really helps.
She's
Mr. President,
nervous.
Thank you. And it all goes to them. You know, they're truly my why, my kids. Every dollar counts with children, and we're so grateful for the ability to open the Trump accounts for ours. We're gifted the very generous contribution, the $1,000, and able to start the same for my son. And he did want to say a little something to you, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for my Trump account.
Thank you for our Trump account.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing, Mr. President. Thank you. It's truly an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Be careful.
Thank you.
Bye, honey. Take care of Mom. Take care of Mom, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You're so nice. Also with us is a foreman with the Teamsters Local 631, Curtis King. Curtis works 96 hours a week and earns 65% of his income from overtime. When he filed taxes this year, he expected that he'd owe over $11,000 instead of going back, and he didn't know what to do. And Curtis, why don't you come up and tell your story real quickly?
I wonder what type of wait. Whoa. Asmongold got banned on Twitch.
I love the Teamsters. Come on up here, Curtis.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is breaking news to me. Asmongold got banned? Wow. I'll have to take a look at that.
To the unions. We don't all get tips, no. But we do work long hours, hard hours. 96 hours a week, yeah, most of the times I'm not up on current affairs. I don't have a clue what's going on the planet. But I can tell you what's going on in Las Vegas. I can tell you where the shows are. I can tell you we fill the beds in this city. And we love every minute of it. And I thank you for allowing us to keep this money that we worked so hard for. Yeah, I just gone through a divorce and given up everything, but the fact that I got so much back on my taxes, I still was able to buy a new house.
Nice.
Put her in one, too. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Curtis.
Oh, shoot.
Now, we're also pleased to be joined by many Nevada patriots, including your Governor, Joe Lombardo. He's done a good job. Joe, come up real fast. Come on up here, Joe.
Real fast.
Come on up, Joe.
The chanting Joe, unlike Sleepy Joe.
Well, you get to see me twice in one day. So, you know what? I just want to build on what the president has been opining about here in the last 4 hours. He cares about America, right?
I'd say that's probably true.
Quite often when the press and the media runs him down, they think about, he's taking care of his billionaire friends. But those billionaire friends provide jobs. And unless you take care of them, those jobs are absent. And the government doesn't have the ability to hand out infinite amounts of money.
True.
That's not how economies work. That's why they're pushing socialism so hard. But President Trump has changed that whole mindset, and America is that much greater because of his efforts.
Woo!
And it's not lost on me, no tax on tips benefits more people in the state of Nevada than anywhere else in the United States.
That is absolutely true.
So when I People talk
That
to me
is
about Donald
absolutely
Trump.
true,
I'm proud
yes.
to say he loves
Yeah,
the
yes. Yeah. I think that's pretty clear.
And you love him too, right? There you go. So I'm going to leave you with this. Remember what I said on my way out earlier. Get out to vote. Thank you.
What the fuck did you...
Thanks very much, Joe. And thanks to all of the true warriors. And I tell you, we have some great people.
Well,
Adriana
amateurs.
Guzman Freilich, your candidate for Attorney General, is doing fantastically well. Thank you, Adriana. A very special man. I wish you'd get him in office because he's incredible. I've known him so long, and he's got to get in. He just has to. He had a big victory, just a really big victory with spending very little money because everyone respects him. Jim Marchant, he's a candidate for Secretary of State.
Really?
David Flippo, candidate for Congress, who's doing really well. Thank you, David. Marty O'Donnell, candidate for Congress, who I hear is doing incredibly.
Yeah, Marty O'Donnell.
Thank you, Marty. Good job. State Senator Carrie Buck.
Marty O'Donnell's the guy that
candidate for
wrote the theme for Halo. Yeah.
And let me also
He's a
recognize
musician.
the
He's
CEO and
amazing.
chairman of Red Rock Resorts,
We love
Frank
Marty over here.
Fertitta, and his brother Lorenzo.
Let's go, Marty.
They are amazing. And their families are incredible. Beautiful family. Perfect. They have perfect everything. They have beautiful families, I can tell you. And my really good friend who I mentioned before, Phil Ruffin, and his incredible wife, Alexandra. Please stand up, Phil. And a handsome actor named Dean Cain, who's been with us from the beginning.
Oh, Dean
Right
Cain.
from the beginning, Dean. Thank you, Dean. And a Las Vegas icon, and he's a big television sensation. His show went on, it did great. Rick Harrison. Rick, thank you.
Oh, Rick. Oh,
Been a
the
long
best I
time,
can do is
too.
$20. Best I can do
And
is
a friend of
$20.
mine,
Pawn Stars.
and he was with me in good times and bad times, and I've been with him in good times and bad times. But he's a fantastic person. I actually went to his Broadway show, and everybody smiled at him doing a Broadway show, and he was actually fantastic. I've seen a lot of Broadway shows, and he was fantastic. The legendary Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Oh, yeah. Mike Tyson's Broadway
Beautiful
show.
wife. Great couple. Thank you, Mike. Thank you both for being here. Under the Trump administration, Nevada is prospering. Again, you're prospering like you haven't done in many, many years. And America is winning again because we're once again putting America first. It's very simple. We're putting our country first. Every single day, we're liberating our communities from the scourge of migrant crime. You saw what happened last week in Spain, where 60,000 migrants stampeded against the border, invaded and occupied the town, attacked innocent citizens, and rioted in the streets. And that's what communists want for America. That's what they were doing to us. Frankly, as bad as that looked, and it looked bad, what they did to us during Biden
was worse.
And they want
Way
to do
worse.
it again. They want to
They
do
would.
it again.
They absolutely would.
The people of Nevada aren't going to let it happen, and your president's not going to let it happen. And so important. And again, we have the strongest border in the history of our country. But right here in Las Vegas, ICE recently arrested an illegal migrant who brutally stabbed and tried to murder his two roommates. He was violent. In Lyon County, ICE arrested an illegal alien convicted of 2 counts of sexually assaulting a child. He was vicious as you could be. The police almost didn't, and they are great. They are law enforcement. We have to have a hand for law enforcement. They said this was so bad, they almost didn't know what to do, but they did know they take them away. That's why under the Trump administration, we will always stand with ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. We will always stand strong with law enforcement. And we're also kicking all of these millions of illegal aliens off of our welfare. And it's part of the war on fraud led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He's doing a great job. And as illegal aliens go home, the cost of rent, groceries, and other staples is coming down very fast. Our costs are coming way down.
Yeah,
they talk about affordability.
Yeah, not
I took
so
over
much.
the country. The prices were through the roof. In my first day, the
Yeah,
I said, "What are you
no,
gonna do
prices
about
are still high.
affordability?"
This
It
is
was
the
a
point
word
where
they
I
devised,
disagree with Trump.
affordability. No, they never used that word before. They said eggs are way too high. 4 times
I disagree
higher
with
than
Trump
they
on this.
were
Yeah,
in my
the prices of things are
administration.
way too
I
high.
said, tell
still.
me about eggs. Give me a little
way
description
too
of what
high.
you
Yeah,
I
he
was
talks
there
about
one
the
day.
price of eggs.
I had just won the election.
Here's the problem. Comparing it,
was
to Biden,
January 21st. one day
Biden was the
after
absolute worst.
I gave one day where I didn't do a press conference.
That's
Biden
not
would go a whole
the
year
metric
without
on
doing
which
a
you
press
want to
conference. For
you want
obvious
to compare it.
reasons. For very obvious reasons.
You know.
But we've been bringing down prices. And as soon as this situation ends with Iran, oil is going to go down to the floor. Gasoline is going to go down. And we will have completed something in a short period of time. That is a miracle. But remember, we inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. You got to remember that.
Yeah,
And we took it over. What a mess it was. And we're bringing down prices, and we brought down prices, and nobody can believe what's going on. And when oil goes down, and it's going to go down very rapidly, and it's happening very soon, already happening. If you look, today it's $75 down to 75. It's dropping. And we may have to send it up again. We may have to, you know what happens when we send it up, but we hope we don't have to. But when that oil and gasoline go down, everything else follows. But we've done a great job in reducing prices, and we've done an unbelievable job in making our country really, really respected and successful again.
Yeah.
But under my most favored nation policy on drug prices, just to finish up, we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in the history of our country, with price differences of 400, 500, and 600%. You know, my first term, I was the only president that over a one-year period, I got the prices down. They came down a little bit from January to the end of December. And I'll tell you how much they came down, 0.1%. Now you hear price differences of 500, 600, 700%. That alone should win us the midterms, because that has an impact on everything.
That is true.
And the Democrats will go back to the policies they gave you. We had the highest prices for prescription drugs of any country in the world, and now we have the lowest because of one person, happens to be the President of the United States.
It happens to be Donald Trump.
And in just 18 months, we've turned this country completely around. Our border is secure. Jobs are up. Inflation is down. Investment is pouring in like never before. Factories are opening. Our military is more powerful than it has ever been. America is back, and our greatest victories are still to come. We are having victory, and we're going to keep it that way, victory after victory. And with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will crush violent crime, impose harsh new penalties on dangerous repeat offenders, crack down on Marxist prosecutors and rogue judges who are a horror show for our country. And we will end the thing that probably started this big crime wave, no cash bail. No cash bail. We will pass the Great Health Care Plan. It's called the Great Health Care Plan, to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money directly to the people. They give billions and billions of dollars because the big health insurance companies and insurance companies They're totally controlled by the Democrats. We want to give the money not to the insurance companies, but to the people, and you go out and you buy your own health care, and you have money left over. You have better health care and money left over. And finally, we will pass the Save America Act to defend American elections.
Yeah.
Thank you.
USA.
Thank you.
USA.
Remember, we didn't have one Democrat vote, not one for that, not one. All voters must show photo ID.
Yeah, they need to get
All
that passed
voters must
immediately.
provide proof of citizenship.
The fact
And
that
hopefully
they
at a
don't
later
have
date,
that passed already
there'll
is
be
crazy.
no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military
That's
deployment,
crazy
or
they don't
travel.
have that passed.
And we will also enshrine in permanent law no men and women's sports and no transgender surgery on our children.
W.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and you are indeed great people. You're the people that built our country. But, ladies and gentlemen of Nevada, the golden age of America is upon us. We're in the golden age. We're doing things that nobody ever thought possible. And together with your help and patriots all across this magnificent land have been so unbelievable in what's taken place. You're part of it's a miracle. What's taken place is, some people call it a miracle. We call it good government. But we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Nevada. Thank you very much. We love you. God bless you. God bless you.
All right. Well, you know, that's our president. Trump celebrates historic. Oh, okay, we'll watch that. This from today. Why not?
Great athletes. Great athletes. Thank you very much. It's a real honor to be with stars.
We'll
I
watch
like
this
being
too.
with stars.
It's about sports.
Like being with winners. You're winners.
Sports ball.
Like nobody. Thank you very much. Fantastic. It's fantastic. Today we're truly honored to welcome to the White House perhaps the greatest group of Winter Olympians in American history. At the 2026 Olympic Games, Team USA won more gold medals than any American Winter Olympic team has ever won before. And what an amazing achievement. Not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good, isn't it, huh? We had some good teams, too. We're also honored to be joined by many of the members of the U.S. Paralympic team who are fantastic. I watched so much of that and showed unbelievable strength and persistence and skill and brought home an incredible 13 Paralympic gold medals to America. Congratulations. That's a lot of medals. It's a record. That's a record. Along with the athletes, I want to thank the Team USA coaches and staff members who are here today, as well as CEO of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committees, Sarah Hirschland. Sarah, wherever you may be, thank you. Please stand up. Great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Treasurer of the United States, well, and this is a very good friend of mine. Where's Brandon? Brandon Beach. He's the That's a good position. Treasurer. Think of that, treasurer of the United States of America. That's good. He controls a lot of money. And the director of the United States Mint.
He
Paul
controls a
Hollis.
lot of
Thank
money.
You, Paul.
That's what everyone says.
Thank you. Great job. So last February, these incredible Olympians traveled to northern Italy, and they returned home to America wearing 9 bronze medals, 12 silver medals, and a record 12 Winter Olympic golds. Nothing like that. That was the all-time record. These men and women sacrifice years of their lives and countless early mornings to be the best in the world. That's right. I guess you get up early in the morning, don't you? I remember those days, but I didn't do it as well as you. Not quite. It's really something, and they were early mornings. They did it for the highest privilege in all of sports, wearing the red, white, and blue while representing those 3 proud letters on their uniform. It's called USA, and that's what you do.
Oh, come on.
Among the great medalists with us this evening is one of those who helped bring home the team figure skating gold, Danny O'Shea. Where's Danny O'Shea? Where's Danny? Where's Danny? Not bad, Danny. That's pretty good. I watched that one. Great going, Danny. You look better in person if you want to know. When it mattered most, Danny skated the best he has ever skated. Would you say that was the best you've ever? The best. You're never going to do it again. Are you going to do it again? You'll do it again. Do it again. That's great. Yeah, but he said it was the best he ever skated, and other people too in his entire life. And his performance helped the U.S. edge out Japan, who's a very great team, in the team event by a single point, 69-68. And I want to just say again, because I watched that, Danny, well done, and the whole team, well done. That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you. That's great. Also with us is the single most decorated American Olympian from the 2026 Games, speed skater Jordan Stolz. And I watched that one too. Strong legs, very strong legs.
Very strong legs, the strongest legs, some would say.
I don't have any time to work like that. But it's you were amazing and historic.
I love how he makes everything about
Jordan
himself.
Broke the Olympic record in the men's 500 meter, 1,000 meter speed skating, winning double gold medals. In addition, Jordan brought home the silver in the 1,500 meter competition, and he just did a great job. Everybody's still talking about it. So, Jordan, where are you, Jordan? And I met Jordan before, and he's a fantastic young man, great future. We also have the gold medal champion in women's moguls, Elizabeth Lemley. I don't know how you do that, Elizabeth. That's amazing stuff. Where's Elizabeth? Along with gold medal winning mixed aerial freestyle skiing team consisting of Christopher Lillis, Connor Curran, and Kayla Kuhn. Thank you very much. Wow. Where are you? Good job. Great job. I also have to mention the team that won perhaps the greatest victory on the hockey rink since the original Miracle on Ice, and they were here in February, and it was an amazing moment. Incredible. The 2026 Men's Olympic Hockey Team. We celebrated together, and it was something special. It was really an amazing period of time. And the women's team and the men's team, it was just incredible. And in that overtime thriller, Team USA beat Canada 2-1, thanks to many memorable performances.
We beat Canada.
Plays, including the
Canada.
golden goal. They scored it. They call it the
Suffer
golden.
Canada.
It sounds like me naming it. I call it the golden age of America. The golden age of America. Now we have the golden goal. But that's okay. And that was done by Jack Hughes, as you know, great guy. And a record 41 saves by goalie Connor Hellebuck. And he was MVP. Everybody would agree to that. He was unbelievable. He was something. And of course, we can't forget and never would, and nobody would have the courage to forget either, because they are amazing. The history-making women's hockey team, his team left everything right on the ice, and they beat Canada and clinched the Olympic gold. With us today are two of the key contributors to that winning effort, Abby Murphy and Joy Dunn. And I want to thank you, Abby and Joy, for really a memorable period of time. It was just an amazing time for our country. Where are you, Abby and Joy?
Where are you? Where are you? I don't see you.
That was really something, but never before in history have both of our men's and women's hockey teams won gold in a single season. This is truly and I say it's just a period of time. Our country has never done better than it's doing right now in so many different ways, even in terms of investment. 19.2 trillion is pouring into our country, making them richer. It's making everybody in this room richer, including my man. But it's been a great period of time, and I will say this: the whole world and they know it, and they say it. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and a big factor is right standing behind me, and what a future they have, every one of them. Thank you very much. Such an honor. So, adding to this historic success, our Paralympians brought home their 5th straight gold medal in sled hockey and extended one of the greatest dynasties in all of international sports. And it's amazing what you've done. Nobody's ever done anything like it. Where are you? Let me just see.
Yes, sir.
And congratulations to Brett Bolton, David Eustace, Jack Wallace, Caden Beasley, Kevin McKee, Landon Utke, Liam Cunningham, Malik Jones, Declan Farmer, and Jen Lee. You are really an inspiration, and thank you very much. It's an amazing achievement that we'll never forget. And it was a record. Something nice about record performances. It was a record. It's one of the highest pleasures of the presidency to be able to support our nation's best athletes, and that's what they are, and celebrate the champions of Team USA. Under the Trump administration, we're doing everything we can to protect the cherished sporting traditions that have long been part of our nation from the beginning, right from the beginning. And already we've done a lot to help save women's sports, and we're also saving college sports. We're in the process of working very hard. We had a bad judge's decision, and a judge that knew nothing about sports declared sports unconstitutional. Can you believe it? And we had to come and put something together, and we had the help of so many great people. They all came together, and we have a bill right now that we're trying to get passed, and if it does, we'll be bringing sports back, and you'll all be protected, and your sports will be protected, and frankly, women will be protected. Because with what happened, that was the worst thing that happened to women's sports. You understand that. And we're working very hard with a lot of great people. Nick Saban, as an example, was so instrumental. And Andy Levine, he's the president of the New York Yankees. And just so many, they all came together. The Big Ten, the SEC. And what a mess it was, a court case that was a disaster. And why they didn't appeal that case, I have no idea. I won't ask about that, but they didn't appeal it. Some genius said, let's not appeal it. And that was a perfect case to win an appeal, but the people that were running things did not appeal it. So foolish. But we have it going, and we're very close to a deal that will be terrific, I think, and really save college sports and save colleges, if you want to know the truth. The money that was being spent because of this ridiculous decision that was made. But the collegiate athletic system is the engine of American Olympic dominance. And, you know, you produce the great Olympians. They really can compete in college and all sports, every sport, producing 88 Team USA athletes for the 2026 Winter Games alone. And to that end, I am urging the House and the Senate to come together, bipartisan if possible, and it looks like that's what they have done, together and send the bill to my desk. I will sign it immediately, done by some of the greatest people in sports, and I think we have no choice. We have to get that done, right? We have to get that done.
Yeah.
And if we don't, we're very foolish. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're in Never Never Land, and we're not going to let that be happening. We're just not going to let it happen to these great people and others, but we're not going to let that happen. I know many of the Olympians here today are already training for the next Winter Games in 8 years from now. Who is expecting and hoping to be in the next Olympics? Because, well, we're going to run that good like we did the world.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of them. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to do a real job. You know, we had the greatest, most successful, the FIFA, the World Cup was the most, and I want to just pay a special thanks to Andrew. You did a fantastic job, Andrew Giuliani. Great job.
What the?
It was like a flawless thing. It was 4 times more successful than monetarily and every other way. I think other ways even more than that. But it was, well, thank you. But we're going to do it again now for them. We have to do it again for them. So we're going to make this one of the best, maybe the best. But that was the most successful World Cup they've ever had, by far. They actually say by 4 times greater. I said, let's do it again in 4 years, but other countries had problems with that, right? But in 8 years from now, some of you may even have a chance to compete on American soil on the 2034 Winter Olympics, where it's going to be in Salt Lake City. And of course, and that'll be great. And of course, we're all looking forward to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. So we got a lot of action. We have a lot of action going, so it's really going to be something, and it's going to be well run. It's been well run, just like FIFA. We didn't have a problem. It was so smooth. All of those games, it was sort of like they said, having a Super Bowl every day, and actually in some cases having about 4 Super Bowls a day. But it worked out so flawlessly. We're very proud of it. And so I want to just once again thank everybody representing our nation so incredibly and setting all of those records, because many of you set records. Setting a record is a big deal all those years. And you showed the entire world that the Americans really, they know how to fight, and win. And you can do that better than anybody. And I'm going to be watching you again very soon. And now, let's have 2 of the Team USA's flag bearers, the great flag bearers, this past Winter Olympics, come forward for a special gift presentation. One of the most decorated Paralympians in U.S. history, a phenomenal athlete, Lori Stevens, along with U.S. Army Sergeant and bobsled team member, a great talent,
the Jamaican bobsled team.
Duca. Do you know Frank Del Duca? Where's Frank Del Duca?
The Jamaican bobsled team.
Strong, very strong hands. Great. Would you like to say something, please?
Mr. President, my name is Frank Del Duca, and I'm joined here with my teammate, 6-time Paralympian Lori Stevens. We had the unique privilege of serving as Team USA's flag bearers at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Milano Cortina. Thank you for welcoming us to the White House. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for your support of America's Olympic and Paralympic athletes, and for helping to celebrate the movement that unites and inspires so many across our country. On behalf of Team USA, we would like to gift you these keepsakes. We hope you'll wear them proudly as you continue to cheer on Team USA.
I will be. Thank you very much. USA.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
USA. USA. USA.
USA. USA. Yeah.
We're going to do something a little special. If you can get down, we have some really beautiful coins. I love coins. Always love
That's
coins.
nice.
We have the best of them. We're going to give everybody here a very special coin. And if we can, we'll get down and I'll show you the Oval Office. So I can see the Oval Office. I don't think there's too many of these. And most of them I just want to get out of there. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. And some of them I don't like.
Some of you I like, some of you I don't like.
They all come here. We just had the Dodgers. They were fantastic.
Oh, man.
The Super Bowl winner. We have everybody. And this is one of the great honors. And really, you're tremendous athletes. I mean, to do it 6 times. How do you do it 6 times?
Damn. All right, let's see what happened to your boy. What happened to Asmongold? You really get oh. Ooh. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happened to your boy. See, is Asmongold, did he actually get banned? Did your boy Asmongold actually get banned? All right. We're gonna take a look. All right. Let's take a look. Asmongold. Asmongold has been banned on Twitch. Oh, God. Terrorist supporter. Oh, gosh.
Are subhuman while roaches run around his attic. If he's gonna say that Ben Gavir,
What did he get banned for? What did he get banned for? Is it? Let me see.
There's good confidence predicting victory when reporters ask the latter. Far more a game, and they never really stopped.
Okay. All right, let's take a look. Okay. Come on, Spike. All right. Brothers, Asmongold has been banned on Twitch. This is something that was brought to me by my chat. And yeah, it appears that it's going around the internet that Asmongold was banned from Twitch. Now, I think this was only a matter of time because Twitch is a far less aggressive platform. If Asmongold had shocked and abused a dog on stream, if he had been somebody that had glazed terrorist organizations, and promoted the killing of the President of the United States and the killing of other Republicans and read a terrorist manifesto on stream, he would have been fine. But apparently, when you have standards and you believe that your country should have rules and laws, well, Twitch just apparently can't stand that. That's a step too far. We don't know exactly what sent Twitch over the edge, but there have been a couple clips that people have been tagging Twitch on that I think have probably a pretty good chance of being the reason why. That Asmongold has been talking about immigration, and he's been talking far too honestly for the likes of the human dregs over at Twitch. So, Hassan Piker, the terrorist supporter, the guy that is, in love with everything that is him, even though he is a genuinely smelly, gross, odious, sweaty, greasy Turkish pig monster, he posted this in response to Asmongold getting banned because, Asmongold having standards and believing in the rule of law, well, that makes him Hitler. Ironically enough, Hassan and Hitler, they probably get along pretty well. They want to, exterminate the Jews. They want to eliminate the Jews. Hassan is one of the most anti-Semitic and just disgustingly anti-Jewish content creators out there. A guy that is, somebody that's known for saying that America deserved 9/11. In fact, there's an entire montage. In fact, there's a 20-minute clip of some of the things that Hassan has said. This is just one of the many things that Hassan said. I'm going to refresh your memory.
Doing one good thing, which is that, if you have these millionaire, billionaire, WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date rape to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is, in some respects, from a utilitarian perspective, of course, a little bit better. You know what I mean? Taking these guys and putting them in a pen with one another is ultimately getting them away from the broader society.
So this terrorist supporting, mushroom-headed, micro-penis, micro-brain imbecile, this guy can advocate the rape of white Christian women, and he's still allowed on Twitch. But Asmongold talks about borders. He talks about having rules for those borders, and Twitch says no, a step too far. So it says Asmongold has been banned. I agree with Tectone here, 100%, 1,000%. Banned again for telling the truth. Platform, you can't say that on YouTube. Asmongold has nothing to apologize for, and that's true. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. I do think that Asmongold is going to come out, and I think he is going to apologize. And I do think he's going to say, guys, I'm going to take a couple week break. I'm going to take some time away, and I'm going to prove myself. And I do think he's going to do that. Okay. I think that's part of the thing that Twitch requires for him to come back, mea culpa. But the fact is that Asmongold said nothing wrong. Just like the last time Asmongold said nothing wrong. Understand, this is probably just something Asmongold has to do and play to their little game. But we're not buying it. We are well aware that Twitch as a platform defends and promotes anti-American terrorism through Hassan Piker, and not just him, through people like Frogan. They have no problem with anti-American terrorism and communism on their platform. Now, listen, if it were up to me, if I were Donald Trump, I would create a new position in the government, and I would have Asmongold be in charge of overseeing companies like Twitch to make sure that they're not infested with the rot and the stain of far-left communism. I let them do it. I say, you know what? Go as crazy as you want. You want to, frog march Dan Clancy out of his office? You want to frog march him out of the office? You want to do like a Game of Thrones where Dan Clancy is walking and you're saying shame and he's being whipped in the street? You know what? Go ahead. The fact is that Dan Clancy is an absolute fucking degenerate. He's a joke as a man. He's a joke as a content creator. You know, the fact is that this guy wants so desperately to be part of these young kids. It's disgusting. It's weird. It's creepy. He needs to go. Somebody serious needs to get in there. They need to purge the entire fucking company of these communists, these far-left agitators. They lied about Dr. Disrespect. They lied about Asmongold. They lied about everyone. They lied about Tectone. They lie about everyone. And enough is enough. Why should somebody who has done as much for Twitch as Asmongold has, you know, the only reason that people watch Twitch at this point is Asmongold. That's the only reason I would ever tune into Twitch. Most people can now go to Kick or a better alternative that doesn't have rewinding behind a paywall, Twitch. Twitch puts rewinding a stream behind a paywall that YouTube and Kick and Rumble give you for free. Twitch, you are a platform that is no longer fit for purpose. And if this is a permanent ban, I don't think this is a permanent ban, but if it is, we're going to be going scorched earth on Twitch. We're going to be going scorched earth on Twitch. That's what we're going to be doing. You ban our boy Asmon, it's war. It is absolute war. You let a terrorist communist on the platform that is one of the most disgusting, scum-sucking vermin in the country right now. One of the most anti-American, detestable, putrid pieces of shit. And you let him on the platform. You let him abuse animals on the platform. You let him spew his hateful anti-American rhetoric on the platform. You defend that guy. But Asmon, he says something that's a little too true about immigration, and you freak out. You know what? I think that this should be a rallying cry moment. Asmongold hasn't commented on this, but you know what? He doesn't need to comment on it. We knew this was coming. We knew it was coming because the people at Twitch are a platform that we know is compromised. They do not enforce the rules evenly at all in any way, shape, matter, or form. And the fact that you have somebody like Hassan saying that Asmongold is like Hitler, shut the fuck up.
Right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids.
What is this?
If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids.
Yeah. I'm like, how is that controversial? How is that controversial? You know, I'm sitting here going, how on earth can you say it's controversial? Don't bring your kids into an area where they could be put at risk. That's basic. That's absolutely that is the least controversial thing I've heard him say.
It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over.
How is he wrong? If you're going to have people that are invading the country, like what we saw in Spain, an absolute invasion of fighting age men, why do you as a country not have the right to defend yourself? If they're going to use women and children as shield, well, we might as well put down our weapons. Can't do anything, can't defend ourselves. They're using women and children as shields. Can't do shit. Get the fuck out of here. Be an adult for once in your fucking lives. And by the way, it's not mostly women or children. It's a bunch of 40-year-old men 20 to 40-year-old men that are like, oh, no, I am 18, I'm 17. No, they're a bunch of liars. They're a bunch of economic migrants. And you know what? Enough is enough. We don't want these people in these countries. And we don't have to have them. Spain doesn't have to have them. U.S. doesn't have to have them. We don't have to live like this. And at Twitch, if you or any of the other blue-haired, nose ring enthusiast freaks have a problem with that, fuck you. Deport yourself. Get out of my fucking country. You're not welcome. You're not wanted. Nobody likes you. You're repulsive. You're trying to turn this country into something completely different. Get out. If you have a problem with what he said, get the fuck out of our country. Go to, I don't know where you go. Go anywhere. But this is just the thing that breaks the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is the thing that just drives me over the edge. You have the uneven enforcement of your rules. Hassan Piker has said things on Twitch that are just absolutely disgusting. And there is no consequence for it. There's no accountability for it. Hassan has said America deserves 9/11. Nothing happens. Hassan is, we could go through the list of things that Hassan has said, and it's so despicable. And there is a 20-minute video that's just a compilation of all of the worst things that Hassan has said. 20 minutes. It's brutal. I recommend that you guys look it up, and I recommend that you watch it. Because I do think it's worth taking the time. Now, for this video, I showed you the video of Hassan talking about how it would be better, from a utilitarian standpoint, it'd be better to, violate and rape, white Christian women. But that's just one segment, one statement out of hundreds that he's made. This guy genuinely is one of the most repulsive and evil people. And yet they ban Asmongold.
Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's the way an animal thinks.
True.
These people are animals.
Yeah, these people are animals.
It's just the way it is. They're savages. Absolute fucking savages.
Yep.
Hamas tactics, terrorists. Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Asmund?
Absolute fucking savages. Hamas tactics, terrorists. Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it. But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man.
So you don't want to do it, but you have to do it because otherwise the problem is going to get worse. Huh. Sounds pretty reasonable, huh, Twitch? Huh, homosexual, disgusting, soy-infused freaks that work at Twitch. Huh, sounds pretty reasonable. That you don't want to do this thing, but you have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get a problem that's 1,000 times worse from people that have no morals and no principles. These low IQ third worlders that have absolutely nothing of value to offer. So you want to crucify a man for his opinion of telling the truth, but an absolute demon like Hassan, you'll let him on your platform. You'll let him stay there. How utterly despicable. How utterly despicable. Dan Clancy and the management team at Twitch should hang their head in shame. Hang your head in shame, you freaks. Everyone despises you. Your platform is a joke. Anyway, we're going to wrap it there. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Fuck Twitch! Man, that platform needs to be taken down. Anyway, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Let's see. Okay. Fast Scout Gaming and Voice said, I'm so scared I'm going to lose. Wait, what? Please pray for me and my family. They had to resuscitate him. He was dead for 3 minutes and had a clot in his lung. Please pray for me and my family. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. It says, been dealing with some really painful and difficult stuff this week. My dad is in the hospital and is being transferred. He had a blood clot in his lung. Please pray for me and my family. Yeah, absolutely. Brothers, please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Lord, we come before you and we just pray for the healing and well-being and peace of mind of our brother in chat. You know him, you know his heart, you know his father's heart, Lord. I just pray that you be with them, that you give him comfort and you let him know that it's going to be okay, that you've got this. I pray that you give the doctors wisdom, that you use them to help and honestly to give him some peace of mind. Lord, we know how difficult it is to lose family or to have them in a difficult situation. And I just pray that you give him all the peace of mind in the world and let him know it's everything's going to be okay. And don't let him devolve into the dark, Lord. That's where the evil one does his work. I pray that you keep him positive and focused on you. But we pray that your will be done and that you put your healing hand on him, Lord. I say this in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm not very good at public praying, but I still do it anyway because I do think there is power in prayer. I do. But what an unbelievably sad situation, my friend. I'm really, really sorry to hear that. That's heartbreaking. Yeah, I will keep you in prayers. But just know, whatever happens, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be okay. Yeah, no, I know. It's extremely tough. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. But whatever happens, it's going to be okay. God's got this. And I just pray that he be with you. It says, stop saying you're not good at prayer. No, I'm able to admit I'm not super comfortable with public praying. I usually, pray in private. So it's just sort of an interesting thing to pray in public. But yeah, I'm here. We're here to provide, distraction, support, entertainment. We want to help you through it, brother. But on that note, I am going to end stream. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. I want to thank you for allowing me to do this. You guys coming in, you guys engaging, the financial support, all of it. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't do this without you guys. So, thank you. God bless you. God be with you. And